Did we start?
We're live. Yeah, we did
We're live.
start.
Hey, pay
Um,
attention. How you doing?
guys, let me just say before Sterling talks, I'm sorry, it's my fault that we're late. We don't know what we're doing yet. We're still new to this thing. And we wanted to stream it to his channel, but we can't quite figure it out because, Aaron's super smart at this stuff and I didn't know. So that's why we're late and I'm sorry. Otherwise, what's going on with you guys? Sterling, how's your life?
Apologies accepted.
Mm.
Also, I was a little late here. I probably could have gotten on here 15 minutes earlier and sorted this whole thing.
Even though
But
I was
hey,
waiting on you, that's
that's
okay.
what happens. Nothing big in my life. It is a windy day here in Los Angeles. We have the Santa Ana's finally kicked in. I am not a fan of wind. I actually have a lot of trauma connected to windy days. So not a fan, but we'll see. And also, of course, you can't play volleyball. Baseball is a little more difficult. Tennis is kind of out the door, and pickleball when it's windy. So not a fan of wind at all.
Oh my God. Okay, so I guess there's so much, like you were just saying a second ago, you've watched my stuff. Sterling, I don't know anything about you. Is your real name Sterling?
My real name is Sterling. It absolutely
That
is.
is such a cool name, by the way.
Thank you so much. Is your real name Reese?
No.
Okay. Are you okay with saying your real name?
Oh yeah, I say it all the time. See, okay. My real name is Marisa.
Oh,
But
okay.
when I was 2, by the time I turned 2, apparently everybody was calling me Marissa, and my dad hated it. And so he started calling me Reese instead. So apparently the spelling looks like Marissa. So I've gone by Reese my whole life. But I think Sterling is such a cool name.
Thank you so much. I think Reese is a cool name. I really do, actually. It just rolls off the tongue. Every time I think, okay, I'm going to talk to Reese, I think Reese's Pieces right away. I mean, that's just.
Do you really? Because I feel like Reese is kind of a boy's name.
Ooh, it is one of those ones like Pam or Pat, but
okay, well, Pam.
But I think Reese as a boy's name would have a C in it, wouldn't it? That would be my guess.
It does typically, or it's like RHYS. But hold on, did you just say Pam? Because I've never met a male Pam.
No, so I meant Pat. What's the famous character on Saturday Night Live? Is it?
I don't know because I've never seen Saturday Night Live.
Because you were in a cult.
Probably that's why. I think Sterling can go both ways too, though. I feel like I've met a female Sterling.
Well, actually, you're in Kansas. Where are you located?
Why does it say Reese is not live? I'm definitely live. I'm in Kansas City.
Okay. So Patrick Mahomes, the star quarterback of your Kansas City Chiefs, his daughter's name is Sterling.
I was going to say, don't they have a kid named Stella or Sterling or something?
And some of my friends tease me about that. Sterling is actually the name of my grandfather. And so I don't know if you know this, but when Justin, the Yeti, Bigfoot and I were born, they did not know there were twins. So Justin popped out and the doctor turned to my mom and said, "You have another one." And that was me. So she'd already had the name Justin picked out and she needed to name the second child. And her father's name, my grandfather's name, was Sterling. So I got the name Sterling. And it's a Southern name, very Southern name. You'll find it a lot in the southern part of the United States.
Seriously?
Yep. Yeah.
That's a Southern name?
Sterling
Weird.
is a Southern name.
Not thought that. I just think it is such a cool name. Do you love having that name? I'm serious. It's a very cool name.
It really works well at Starbucks. That's for sure. It always is a conversation starter. But that being said, I get called Spencer all the time. It's so funny. People that just never heard the name Sterling or don't understand it. I got called Spencer in a comment the other day. And again, innocent, I know. I don't ever blame anyone. I just laugh at it. But I don't know how you go from Sterling to Spencer, but it happens very frequently. It's quite
weird.
Funny.
Yeah, I don't really connect the two, but yeah.
No.
I didn't see. So I don't really know hardly anything about you. I found out last night that you were a twin. I didn't even know that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, really? I don't know anything. I really didn't know. Aaron just told me a few days ago that Jenna Miscavige is your sister.
Yes.
See, I didn't even know that.
Really? Okay.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Why would I expect you to know that? It's
because Aaron watches YouTube 500 days a week. And I don't watch, once I'm done, I'm done. I don't really watch TV or YouTube, to be
Right.
honest, unless it's like
Right.
a fashion thing and I'm trying to figure out how to put a belt with a certain dress. Otherwise, I don't really watch. So I apologize for that. But no, I didn't know that.
Well, no, and it's been an ongoing joke a little bit, at least on Aaron's channel and some of the other ones about the family tree. It is a little confusing, but you know what? Why don't I take this moment to talk about it for a second? But I do
I like
obviously
that.
also want to get into. I do like the contrasting. How our lives contrast with each other, because I believe you were born into Scientology and worked at a Class 5 org, and I was born into the Sea Org and worked at Golden Era Productions. And so I always love the comparisons between those two. I find it
Yes.
fascinating because I really had almost no dealings with actual public Scientologists for a majority of my life. So, but we'll get into that. Just to
Yes.
answer the
And I was
question.
in the cadet org too.
Oh, were you really?
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
For a short time. But yeah. But I do
And
want to hear about
I also
this.
want to talk about your association with fax machines as well. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Deep,
and
deep
when you first
association.
told that story, I had this particular scene from a movie come to mind that maybe if I ever meet you in person, we'll go do it. It's from The Office Space, when they take the copy machine out into the middle of the field and they beat the crap out of it with sledgehammers. I think
Oh,
it may be therapeutic at some point for you to get a
you know
fax
what?
machine out there and
We
just I'll
should do
get you.
that together sometime.
That would be so much fun. That would
If
be
you
so
ever
much
have the
fun.
time, I'd like to make time for that.
We'll do it. We'll get Aaron in there too, because we'll need it. We'll need his
I would
brawniness
appreciate
to.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Aaron's got a lot of strength. Yeah. Okay. Well, tell us a little bit about this because I
Well,
want to
okay,
know.
so let me try to be as clear and succinct as possible. This is not easy. So okay, so you have the Miscaviges, and you have Ron Miscavige Sr., who everybody knows. You have Loretta Miscavige, which was his wife. They had, and I'm not going to get into David's sisters, but let's just say Ron Miscavige Sr. had a son, his youngest son, named David Miscavige. Everyone knows who David Miscavige is. And he had another son named Ron Miscavige Jr. Okay. Ron Miscavige Jr. in the 70s in Florida ended up marrying my mom, whose name is Elizabeth Blythe, or Biddy Blythe, married Ron Miscavige Jr. At that point in time, I believe that my brother and I, Justin, were about 2 years old. So
Okay.
Justin lived with Ron Miscavige Jr. and Biddy Miscavige. Those two people, Ron Miscavige Jr. and Biddy, now Miscavige, are Jenna's mother and father. So I'm related to Jenna Miscavige through my mother. Okay.
So you guys
At
have
that
the same mom.
same mom. At that
Okay.
same time in
Hold on.
Florida.
I'm going to stop you for a minute.
Go ahead.
Everybody's saying, are you reading the comments at all? I'm trying to pay attention.
I can't see them because it's not, I can't see
Oh
them.
my God. I hate this. I can't figure out why.
Don't worry about it.
Almost everyone is saying it's frozen. Okay.
No.
Ray, you say it's fine. Michelle Carpenter says she's fine, but like tons of people are saying restart. It's buffering. What do? We need Aaron. I don't know what to do.
Oh, here, let me check something here. This may help.
Let me ask. I'm going to mute it. Hold on. Okay, I asked Jeff. He's not having an issue either. He's watching it upstairs, and everybody's saying it's fine. I hate that you can't see the comments. Oh, he's frozen. Guys, he's frozen.
He's frozen now.
I know. What do I do, Jeff?
You can restart.
How do you do that? What do you mean? I know. What do I do, Jeff? Oh my God, he's gone. What do I do?
He may have left and then is coming back.
Can he come back on his own?
If you sent him the link, I would assume so.
Oh, people are saying he freezes a lot. Am I still here with you guys? It says live. I'm still here, right? All of a sudden, I'm really hot. I think it's because I'm drinking this coffee. What do I do, honey? Someone said now it's buffering. What the heck is going? Oh, people are saying I'm fine. So I'm not freezing up. Look at my
It's on
phone.
his end then.
Well, when's he going to come back? Some people are saying, everybody's saying send Sterling a link. I already sent him the link, guys. He has the link. Okay, Lori said just talk with us. Bo, shush it. Huh. Okay. Well, this sucks. I hope he can come back. Maybe it's like that day that Aaron and I went live and I lost connectivity, remember? And I couldn't get back on. Okay, Ted says he's just restarting his computer. Do I need to send him another link? I don't think so.
I wouldn't think so.
Oh, there he
coming
is. Oh my God.
Hey. Yeah, I don't know what to do about the buffering, but just a heads up, because of the violent wind, sometimes the internet will go in and out, and there's nothing I
it's
can do
super
about
windy
that. I don't
there.
know if that's what was happening.
Honey, no. Don't shut that door. I want the dog to be able to get out. Thank you. Sorry, Sterling.
But
Okay.
no worries. So let's just get back at it. You know, hey, it doesn't have to be perfect. We're not in the Sea Org.
Oh my God, if that's not true. Okay. Well then, guys, everybody's saying it's fine now. I mean, I don't know what else to say, but I want to carry on because I was
as long
listening
as
to
you
this
see
very
me
intently.
moving, then I should still be moving in your live on YouTube. I mean, that's just basic math.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just sorry that you can't see the comments and we can't stream it to your channel. I really would do that if I knew how.
You know what? No worries. We'll figure it out next time. It's something I could have thought of or you could have thought of, but that's okay. That's okay. We'll figure it out.
Well, we'll figure this out because we're going to do this again.
For sure. And I'm easy about this stuff. Again, this is a sideshow. This is a hobby. I do not stress myself out about this. And I just look forward to talking to you. So as long as the public can hear us clearly, we're not blowing out mics and we're not talking over each other, we should be good.
You guys, is he a little angel? He's a sweet little croissant. Okay. Well, let's finish. It sounds like everything's back to okay, and you can't see the chat. So I'm gonna pay attention to the chat at the same time, like I always do.
You got
now
it.
Everybody says, Reese, you are freezing and buffering. I don't know what to do about it, guys. We're just
you have to
go
realize
forward.
the internet network connections are imperfect. Technology is imperfect. So you will have that. We apologize. But you know, the most important thing is that you're hearing the audio at this particular point. So as long as
that's
you're hearing
true.
the
As long as you guys can hear the audio, because a lot of people are saying I'm frozen. I don't know what to do about it. Let's just go on.
You're definitely not frozen. Okay, great. Well, yeah. So again, Ron Miscavige Jr., Biddy Miscavige. My brother goes with my mom. They're married at the same time. This is between 1978, I think, and maybe 79. My dad, who's also in Florida at the time, marries a lady named Barbara Christensen, who then becomes Barbara Tompkins. So my dad, Foster Tompkins, marries Barbara Tompkins. We're all in Florida. I stay with my dad. Even though we're still all in Florida, we actually did separate that way. Justin and I would be in a nursery together during the day because we were still like 2 or 3 years old. But we had separated with the parents had actually separated. Later on, Foster and Barbara have a child who's my little brother, Nathan, who I am related to through my father. Nathan and Jen are actually born in the same year, so I believe they're almost exactly the same age. And that's how that was separated. So moving forward, my parents stay in the Sea organization all the way through. They never take a break out of the Sea organization. Ronnie and Biddy, at some point, I believe in the early 80s, they leave the Sea organization. They go to New Hampshire, a couple places, but New Hampshire is where they landed. Justin goes with them. Jenna is born in New Hampshire. And at some point, I missed Justin. I was now in LA. And so I went out to visit New Hampshire somewhere mid 80s, I think 84, 85. They came back into the Sea organization. So I was reunited with my brother. And then in the early 90s, Justin, Jen, and I all go to the Int Base Ranch, which we've talked about in detail. And after that, Justin and I go to Golden Era Productions. Jenna, you need to read her book. It's a fantastic book. She explains her whole path. I don't want to speak for her on that, but she ends up going to back to Florida, and a bunch of story on that. But then it gets into here's where I think I made the thing confusing. It's pretty straightforward up until the point that I marry Shelley Miscavige's sister, half sister, Suzette. When I do that, I then kind of mix up the whole thing a little bit, because now I am related to David Miscavige by marriage, by my mom being married to his brother. But I'm also now related to Shelley Miscavige by me being married to her half sister. So my ex-wife and Shelley shared the same father.
Okay.
And that is how I'm connected to the whole thing. Aaron Smith-Levin has absolutely no relation to anyone in that family. And I was just saying that to be funny. So he's just a good friend of mine.
Wow, who is he not a good friend of? He's such a good friend.
He's an awesome person. He really, by the way, I just have to say this real quickly. And Justin points this, my brother Justin points this out all the time. It is not a normal circumstance where YouTube people just go, hey, let me help out other YouTube people. It's a little bit of a dog eat dog world. And some YouTubers even ask for money to promote you on their channel. Aaron promotes everybody on his channel. And he's helped me build my base. And I know that, right away, you're going to get, just by being on Aaron's channel, you're going to get about between 2,500 to 3,500 subscribers right away. The rest of it is up to you. Your personality, your content, and don't be mistaken. It is about content and personality, not just one or the other. At least in what I've seen so far, because I follow everyone's numbers. It's fascinating to me. But yeah, Aaron does a really nice thing for everybody by doing that. He really does not have to. So I want to give a little thanks to him. I'm a big thank you person. I love acknowledging people. So yeah, thank you, Aaron, for that. I appreciate it. And of course,
I love that. Yes, I love that. I love that about Aaron. People have sometimes complained to me. I have mainly women on my following.
Yeah.
And I love that. But sometimes they'll reach out to me and say, like, Aaron's insensitive about things. And he can be. But the point is, Aaron has a huge heart, and he helps people, and he loves people. Yeah. And it's just so clear to me now more than ever that I always was afraid of what a suppressive person really was, because they just scared the hell out of me on what the definition of that is, and like pure evil. And now that we're all declared, I'm like, oh, wow. No, it's actually the good guys. Like, it's really good, big-hearted people.
Oh, absolutely.
That I've met, and I love Aaron. And I love that this whole community is growing. And I hope that it actually makes some kind of a dent while we're alive.
Yeah, so do I.
That would be cool.
I would have to say it has. I would have to say at least it has. I mean, if we stop one person from getting in Scientology, we've done a good thing.
Yes.
Just one.
Yes. And because I believe that Aaron has.
There's no question about that.
Yeah.
He did the best, and I'm sure he's probably not comfortable with us complimenting him so much, so we'll end it here soon. But I think he did the best.
We can keep going. It's okay. I like to make him uncomfortable.
He did the best interview ever with Lex Friedman, when he was so good at describing Scientology.
Yes.
It was I couldn't even get close to that. Also, though, under my breath while he was doing the video, I kept saying nerd, because I like to tease him about how much he knows about Scientology. I really didn't. At some point, I got to the point where I just want to do my job. I just want to work and be happy if I can. He really got into the nitty gritty of it, but and it shows you his dedication level. I think when he puts his mind to anything, he's just going to crush it.
Oh yeah,
out of the park. And
he's super intelligent. It helps that Aaron is super intelligent.
Yes, he is.
I think you both are. I think you guys both are. I didn't get that part in the church, but I took it very seriously too. I took it pretty seriously. I feel like I knew a lot, and it's hard to unlearn all that. It's hard to go into that and unlearn it.
And we have quirks. Like, yeah, you'll see sometimes Aaron get a little bit impatient with some interviewees, and I get that. I actually do. I understand. So I understand both points of view. I understand that in some cases that interviewee cannot help themselves for beating around the bush or not getting back to answering the question and veering off onto a tangent that's not directly related to the question. That to me is one, personality, and two, part of trauma or a response you've learned based on living a life in Scientology. It's also, I understand from Aaron's point of view, is he's a very efficient person. He's a very I hate to use the word A to B, but he's a very get it done type person and specific. So that will frustrate him. Guys,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. Guys, that is just what it is. If everyone on here hit every part of their personality, this wouldn't be fun. But you have to know this about Aaron. Anytime that's ever happened, as far as I've known, he's gone and had a conversation after and either apologized or said, hey, that's what happened. And most of the people that, the chat gets all in a roar about, and I do appreciate that the chat cares enough to even say anything, but the person most times is like, oh no, we're good. Realize these people are coming from the Sea Org.
Yes.
Aaron wanting to get them to answer the question in a more sensible fashion is a minutia compared to the shit they went through there.
Nothing. Yeah,
Nothing.
it's nothing.
So they're not even remotely offended by it. But again, I do appreciate the chat. I do try to go back and answer most questions with them. And I do appreciate the feedback. So anyways,
yes,
we're done talking about Aaron
for now.
for now. But yeah, no, he's a fantastic guy. That's for
He
sure.
is a great guy. I feel very lucky to have him as a friend. I just feel also like it's so crazy to me still how I got here. It's so crazy to me when I think about just like not that long ago, Aaron making that phone call going, there's a chance, but I doubt it. It's like less than a 1% chance that they saw your name, but I don't know. I mean, I remember standing in Jeff's office on speaker going, they didn't see it. I'm sure we're fine.
Wow.
And I never spoke to my family again.
And what's so crazy about that, and there you go. That's another point to character. A person that was just doing this just because they were doing it for whatever attention they could get wouldn't have cared about your feelings in that circumstance. He cared enough to call you and say,
yeah.
I'm afraid, I'm sorry. And he felt terrible about it. That is not a characteristic of a suppressive person or someone that doesn't care.
Absolutely.
So,
Absolutely.
And that was our introduction to you. And you know what? I don't believe in a God in particular. I'm spiritual by nature, but I think things happen for a reason. And we might not have you today if that didn't happen, if that didn't force your hand. So, at the same time, I'm also appreciative that it did happen.
My God.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. I think we all are. This has unfolded into something so magical. I've gained so many friendships with people. And I don't know about you. How long have you been out?
I've been out since 2005.
Oh my God. See, I didn't even know that. Okay. I thought this was like a year ago for you.
No, I've been out for a while. Yeah.
Okay. So it hasn't been long for me. And I am so grateful every day. I don't know if you felt this way, but like every day is a new day for me as far as I'm like, oh, wow. Oh, like even just being out in the world, I'm like, I don't have to think like that. It's just such a weird, I don't like to say it much because it sounds stupid. It's so simple, but it's like, this is so wonderful. I've never felt better, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I'm glad this happened. The holidays are coming up and I'm starting to feel that sadness because this will be the first time without my family. It'll be weird.
Oh, right.
Right.
Because this happened after New Year's last year, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry to hear that because family during the holidays, there's nothing that warms one's heart more than spending time with the family. And I get everyone doesn't agree with all their family members, but I'm lucky. I have a great family. But I'm sorry about that, Reese. That is, if it's going to be the first time. Yeah. It'll
be the first time, but I lost my dad early on and disconnection it's not like I'm going to be super heartbroken. I understand loss. I've experienced it. I don't know if my husband passed away. Like I've had tough times during holidays. It's been hard. Yeah. But I'm actually feeling okay about it, but I feel this sadness because my son's birthday's in a couple of weeks. And as you may or may not know, he was super close to my in-laws, his grandparents.
Right.
And
the ones
it's
that are
going
in
to be
Florida.
really weird. Well, they live here, but right now they're in Clearwater. Yeah. Okay. So it's going to be really weird, but everybody in this chat, that's what I mean. These people have changed my life. These are not just fans or viewers. These people are my friends. They care about me. They've sent Huxley cards and gifts and me too. And it's just like, I feel a safety net I've never felt before of just this connection with people that's unconditional, which, as you
That's amazing.
know, is not a thing in Scientology. And I'm learning that now more than ever. So anyway,
Yes, no,
it'll
there's
be
no big,
hard.
bad, scary SP out there.
Mm-mm,
To,
mm-mm.
and that's one of the first things I learned, which I found interesting, is that I was like, I was on the lookout when I first left. I was like, I wonder if there's going to be, and I've maybe met 2 or 3 bad apples
Yeah,
that I really think were just bad people in the time I've been out, and I've been all over the world, traveling and working in different locations. So it is, look, it's, well, it's brainwashing, right? It is definitely, yeah. And I do count the blessings of being out every day. I count the blessings of the people that I've met, and the people that have become friends. And it's interesting how easy it is to build a friendship when you don't have conditions built into it, and you can fully trust someone, and you don't
yeah,
have to always be looking behind you to see if someone's reporting you or following you, or any those type scenarios.
totally. Which happens all the time
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Scientology.
So if you don't mind me, I'm going to ask you a question. You were born into Scientology, so your parents were in Scientology when you were born.
Yes, my dad has been in Scientology since I think like 1968. So long.
In the Kansas City area?
Yeah, he's from Kansas City. He lived in Omaha though. He moved to
Right.
Omaha at like the age of 17 or something.
Okay.
He learned about it in Kansas City or Omaha. I don't know. He read Dianetics. I really don't know the entire story there, but he found it and just latched onto it.
Do you
And
remember the first experience you had with Scientology, whether it was a course or an auditing session, or do you have any recollection of that? I'd be interested in that.
totally, totally. I think it was my first recollection, I think, is about the age of 4. I
Oh,
have a
wow.
sister that's 4 years older,
Okay.
and my dad would sit us down in our house in Omaha with 2 chairs, and he would start us on TRs. And I don't remember him explaining what that was. And so he would just do the start, flunk, and he'd get really mad. And, he would just make us start, doing that. And so I remember that and being terrified, like sitting in that chair and just being like, I don't know what I'm doing, but I'm supposed to be silent and still. And if I move, I get in trouble. So I remember that. And then he started doing services. I don't know why, in DC. He hates Kansas City. My dad has nothing but horrible, uh, his family hated his family, and he hated Kansas City. So it was a bad place for him. So he did services in Washington, DC,
Hmm.
and he took me with him. And so I started doing like learning how to learn and children's communication course and all those things at a young age. So that's my first memories.
Well, that's interesting. I grew up in the Sea Org, Greece. My dad had regular communications with L. Ron Hubbard through the entire 1980s. And I didn't do an ounce of Scientology until I was at least 8 years old. I never did TR,
Wow.
so I find that I mean, my mom was a senior, Barbara was the senior CS AOLA. My aunt Griffey was the internship soup. So I had access to so much auditing and stuff like that, but I never did an ounce of TRs or anything like that until I think I was like 11 or 12 at the Inn Ranch. So that's interesting to me. It really does depend on
Yeah. On the up.
the
I see where
craziness
you're going
level.
with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I also see where you're going with that. Like, you were in the Sea Org.
Yeah.
It was different. It's like being on staff. I was on staff, and somebody asked me last night in a chat, who audits the auditors on staff? And
Good question.
yeah, but I mean, no one really, because the
Right.
staff don't get taken care of. They
No.
don't get auditing. You have to pay to play.
Right.
So yeah, they're not getting all the auditing and help, like everybody else. So it's just,
Yeah.
you're right. It's different from each place, I guess.
Yeah. Very much so. Very much so. I mean, even Aaron's story too is fascinating about being a class 5 staffer, then living in LA, then joining the Sea Org, and then like there's so many. Look, there's just so many interesting stories out there. But okay, so yeah, 4 or 5. I believe that. So you're hanging around the Kansas City org as a kid, I'm assuming, or did you
Yeah.
stay in Kansas City, or did you go back to, because your dad didn't like Kansas City? Where did you stay?
I grew up in Omaha
Oh,
with
okay.
my dad, But we
Okay.
would come down to Kansas City. That's where I met everybody in Kansas City that I knew up till now. I've known these people my whole life almost.
Right.
So it's crazy that I never talked to them again. It's crazy
Right.
that they never said goodbye to me. Like it really hurt for a couple of months there that people just blocked me. Like with I thought they would apply. If you look in the ethics book, I actually went back and read it
Mhm.
on when disconnection happens. You can write a letter of disconnection. He says
Right.
you can do that. Nobody did that. And I was waiting for those letters. And that would have been good closure for me. I just kind of would have not, it would have been neatly wrapped up for me for them to go, I hate you and I'm never going to talk to you again because of what you did. It would have helped.
Right.
But it was worse to just never hear from people again.
Right. And there's the similarity in experience, because when it comes to disconnection, when it comes to leaving that group, it is generally the same. You in an instant lose all contact, all friendship. I lost all the kids I grew up with. I mean, now some of them have left since then, and I'm so happy for that. And we were connected. But you really do lose. Imagine losing all your friends from grade school, high school, and all your peers in overnight.
Yeah.
That's trauma. That does make you trust a little less and be a little more guarded. But
Yes.
that's a brutal experience. I'm sorry you had to experience that, and I do wish you had some letters from them. But I guess in today's world, there's nothing worse you can do than associate yourself with Mike Rinder, Aaron Smith Levin, Leah Remini. You just can't. That is the cardinal sin now in Scientology.
Yep.
Apparently, it's not SA. You can get away with that, but talking about your story, telling the truth, and exposing those things that the church is doing wrong, that's the cardinal sin, even though they're true. And that's an argument that I've had.
I like
Right.
that. I don't
Right.
mean to cut you off, but that is
No.
exactly a good way of looking at it. It's like
Yep.
they all died at the same time. But
Absolutely.
go on, I cut you off. Go on.
And then in some cases, when they make videos about you, they're coming back from the grave to haunt you.
Yeah.
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 What was I talking about?
You know, that's interesting. Speaking of that, do you have they done anything like fair gaming to you like that?
No, not that I know of.
Okay. Okay.
Not that I know, but I have a copy of my spy files too. I'd be interested to see who. I was genuinely shocked about some of because Mark Headley, who's been a longtime friend of mine, a fantastic person. I don't know if you've ever spoken to him, but he's a great
I've
guy.
never met him. He seems like a cool guy, but I've never met
him and Claire. Well, Claire, you can't say enough good things about Claire.
I've met Claire. We've spoken via email, and I really like her, but I've never met her like on a live or anything.
Who you see on camera is the exact person she is. She's got the biggest
Oh yeah,
heart.
I can tell.
Like, there's no one that will have
really
anything bad to say about Claire Headley, except for the church.
yes. Right.
No, she's a lovely person, always has been. But
Yeah.
where are we going now again? we keep going off. I keep forgetting.
I was asking you if you had any fair gaming done to you.
No, not that I know of, but I did check into the SP files. Or I'm not SP, I got sent my spy files, so at some point I'll go through them. I'm interested to see who I didn't know about was reporting back on me at the time. But I was shocked to see some people that Mark had mentioned that I thought were my friends that apparently were actually doing that. And, there's always suspicions and stuff like that. But some people I was shocked that they were doing that. I was like, really? And I get that, as a kid, if you lose your parents, I know some of them had their parents are still there, and you would do anything to have that connection with your parents again. And you could almost say that about me, but I won't have a relationship with my parents if it's conditional. That's what I won't have, because that's not real and that's torture. And I always make the mistake of saying I don't talk to my dad anymore, but that's not the truth. I've actually had my family members call me after a video to correct me on that. I would speak to my dad in a second. It is he that does not speak to me. He does not need or want a connection with me, though my heart's open. If he left tomorrow, I would help him out. He could stay with me, do whatever. But
wait. Your dad is still in?
My dad Foster is still in. Yes. Yeah, I guess I didn't finish that part. Yeah.
So is he in the Sea Org?
He is in the Sea Org. Yes, he is.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And actually my stepmom Barbara, who raised me, is also still in. They're both still in. So
are they married still?
That's a debate. We don't know. We don't know for sure. I've heard rumors both ways. I'm not sure. I'm actually in communication with Foster's family, who I'm very, very close to, and Barbara's family, who I'm also close to. So I talk to them. Actually, by the way, before I forget, one of my favorite cousins, Alexa, lives in Kansas City.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Do you know
I should hook you
where?
guys up so you guys can talk. She's a sweetheart. Such a when I was leaving, when I was on the fence just trying to get out, she lived in Los Feliz at the time. So she would invite me over to my house, and that was my escape. That was my freedom. She would cook dinners, and we drove, she would take me to In-N-Out. We drove up to Palm Springs one time. So as I was like just trying to get out, and I wasn't being monitored as much, I could sneak out to her place with her husband, Todd, and their son, Roland, I think was like 3 years old at the time. So I used to play baseball with him in the backyard. But yeah,
No
so she was
way.
a big factor for me when I was
So
leaving.
she's here now?
She's in Kansas City. Yeah.
Does she watch our lives?
She does. My whole family does. Absolutely.
Well, you need to put me in touch with her. I'd love to meet her.
Yeah. Oh, you'd love her. She's a complete sweetheart. You'd love her.
Yeah, but we don't know if she would love me. I love everybody, but some
You
people
know,
don't
I
love me
have a
back.
feeling she would. She's just that type of person. She's got a giant heart.
Oh
And
my gosh, I would love to meet her. I don't have any
Yeah.
friends, so that would be cool.
Yeah. You should. I'll send her your number if you're okay with that.
Okay. Do you know is she like close to our age? I'm assuming.
Yeah. She's
Okay.
just a little bit older than me. Just a little bit older than
Okay.
me.
And how old are you?
I'm 47.
You're
And for
47?
the record, I'm 5'9", 152 pounds.
I knew you were kind of a little guy. Not
Yes.
tall. I was talking about this on my live the other day. I said, I don't know how tall he is, but you watched?
Yeah, I watch your stuff. I was laughing.
Okay. But I said his frame, like he looks like a skinnier guy. And I was talking about how Jeff's like a giant.
No, I
bear.
was. And that's thanks to L. Ron Hubbard's barley formula.
Oh, me too. I was on it. Huxley was on it. Huxley's dad was on it. I was talking about this the other day with Jeff. He was like, what?
Yeah.
I said, yeah, no, he didn't recommend breastfeeding LRH. He didn't think it was good.
And my brother Justin's got he's just an inch taller, but he's got a bigger frame than me. He's always been bigger boned. I'm more, I'm not a giant human being. Oh, but I'm a lot taller than Dave. So
you are. No, 5'9"'s pretty good. You said 152 pounds though?
Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm 152 now. Guess what I was when I left? I was 119 pounds. Justin likes to joke that I look like a crack addict when I left because I was malnourished, didn't sleep enough, and I was a rail when I left. Absolutely.
Wow.
So I'm actually in the best shape I've ever been in right now because I finally, for the first time in my life, just decided to start exercising on a regular basis. I can't stand exercise. I love sports. Don't like exercising.
Oh, interesting. Well, I was gonna say you look incredibly healthy. Like you really do. I would have never guessed your age. I thought you were around my age. I'm 39. I thought maybe you were 40.
Oh no, I wouldn't have guessed you were 39.
Wow. Well, thank you. I'm serious. I'm shocked. I did not think you were. So you're older than Aaron.
Yes. Yep.
Okay. Okay. Wow.
I know, crazy, right? You know what's funny? I got to tell you real quickly. My brain keeps going to, we need to get this back on track and talk about, but you know what? I realized that's not what this is. You don't have to do that. This is just a conversation. We're going to go all over the place, but that's good because this is how an actual conversation would go if we were meeting in a coffee shop.
That's right.
And I like to sit there with my notes and go, okay, Reese. So next.
Yes, I like that you just said that because I do best just winging it. Like I don't like to have a topic. Aaron and I were doing a live once and I was like, this is what it's like to not have a topic. He was like, so this is what you do. This is what on your lives. And I was like, yes. Cause Aaron is very like, stay on topic. He wants a topic and he wants to, and that's okay. I'm used to his vibe now. I feel like we're coworkers basically. So I'm used to it. I know what to do with him. And I know he gets annoyed with me when I go off into the weeds. I can just tell the second on his face. But I think it's important. I'm glad that you acknowledged that. I want to stay on topic, but at the same time, I think it's okay to go off into something else. I mean, there's a lot to learn about us, and there's 751 people in here that want to know.
Yeah.
And they would leave if they didn't want to know, and they want to know. So I just think I like it.
And that's what's great about the question answer period, because if we started on a subject and then took another direction, we're happy to answer the questions. I think as much, again, I did a video once about the the channels and why I like them, my favorite channels. And now I didn't know you at the time. Otherwise you would have made my list, Reese. So I apologize.
That's
I might have to
okay.
update that.
No,
But
no, please.
I talked about Amy Scobie, Mike and Leah, Peeling the Onion with Janice and Mark Fisher, which I love, being an ex Sea Org member. I love their channel because the history content of it, they really give that.
Cool.
But what's also important is to see the personality types and the people after they've left from the different areas they've left from. You being a public Scientologist and a class 5 or a Scientology organization, myself being from Golden Era Productions, Mike Rinder being from OSA. Just seeing our personality, I think, helps people understand or relate more to what we're talking about. And it's part of telling the story, but also just talking. Just talking about how you would normally talk and things you would. Of course, people may think you're being a little more guarded because you're speaking on YouTube and stuff like that. And I do have to refrain from saying some things sometimes. I do.
I don't at all.
No, apparently.
Did you see the title of my video yesterday?
I did. And I went, okay, good. I'm probably not gonna listen to that one because I was driving.
Yeah. I think that's best. Although Jeff was on that one and it was a lot of fun. We did a little Q&A with him. And he's just as uncomfortable as you would imagine.
Well, you have to remember too, in this, at least in the Sea organization, I'm not sure about your experience, but the subject of and there's so many different channels that talk about this in different ways, and I'm just going to let everyone have their own view of it because it's not my job to decide what people's reality were with it. But my reality with sex and sexuality and that general subject, it was so repressed in the Sea Org. It was so, you just weren't allowed to think about it. You didn't know, you didn't get a chance to learn about it until you were married. And then even then, no one helped you out really. And it was so, I remember as a kid, I mean, if I brushed a girl by accident, I was supposed to feel guilty for that.
Oh yeah.
If I swung an arm and hit her in the boob, absolutely, that was something I would need to tell someone about right away. So everyone has different experiences, but I know most of my peers, that was their experience. You had to be really careful because you knew that an almost for sure death sentence was any form of what they call out 2D. Of course, we know that means the second dynamic of Scientology, which is considered sex and family. And the phrasing for doing something like that was out 2D, which was absurd. But I just remember that. I'm just like, man, this was just not fun because everything was so hypersensitive to that. And being and working with Dave Miscavige, he was even more like
oh God.
Oh, he made comments to me all the time about it for whatever reason. He thought I was a player. I don't know why he thought that. But even before I married Suzette, he was like, did you go out 2D with her? I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, why would I? I know what's going to happen if I do. It's not worth it,
Yeah, it's exactly, guys, how he just described it too. Now, I think that's a little more strict in the Sea Org.
Yeah.
But it's very similar in Class 5 orgs. Scientology is not like rampant with, like, people are not just like having sex everywhere. That's, I mean, not my experience either. It's very frowned upon because you're constantly, I feel like there's a flashlight on you going, where were you on this? Like it's just constant. Now I was having sex at the age of 14 with a 24-year-old.
Yes. And I remember that part of your story. And
that was well known. I mean, that was, everybody knew, but it was also on the up and up because he was on staff and I was on staff, and that kind of is viewed as upstat, your statistics
it was part of the you're an old Thetan in a young body.
Yeah. Had he been a 24-year-old WOG non-Scientologist that I was just sleeping with outside of being on staff, hell no, I'm sure that wouldn't have flown.
Oh yeah. Yeah. You would have gotten rocked for that. Yeah.
Oh yeah. But it was fine that he was, a staff member. That made it okay. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic though, because Sterling's totally right about that. Like everything I think that's, tell me about this, Sterling, if you're this way. Now, you seem to have more boundaries, which is a good thing. I don't have any. Do you think though that like that stems from like us being under scrutiny so much. Like I was constantly in trouble or going in session or just reported. I mean, you have to give up everything is what I'm trying to say. You have to, like you just said, if you brushed a girl's boob, you felt like you had to say what happened. You pulled that in somehow. I feel like now that's made me into this person that like I get bad comments sometimes of people who are like, you need to learn boundaries. I'm like,
yeah, or
do you
TMI,
know
right?
where I came? Ugh, that's such a trigger. I'm like, no, there's no such thing. It's a rumor. TMI is a rumor. Yeah. What do you think about that? Like, do you experience that?
I think part of it has to do with your inherent personality, and part of it has to do with the environment you grew up in. So of course, in the C organization, we never discussed, like today, if I go on a date with a girl and the date went wonderful and we slept together, of course I can have a conversation with my brother Justin about it and say, hell, boy, it was a wonderful time. She was a blast, and maybe we're gonna go on a second date and maybe talk about some sex stuff. But that never happened in the C organization. So no. you just never spoke about anything like that. And I think my particular personality is I'm a pretty open person. I talk about anything. Now I am guarded a little bit on the tube. I won't openly talk about stuff so easily. But that being said, I did talk with Aaron that one time with Mike Brown, and we laughed about how I think it was explained that I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment where the living room was a converted living room with a styrofoam wall that was not soundproof.
Silent sex.
And so to this day, I'm no joke. I dated a girl and slept with her, and she the next morning she goes, "You don't really talk when you have sex, do you?" And I'm like, "No, was I supposed to?" And I was like, "I also know." Like I think that's built in. I'm just quiet because
oh my God. That would be awkward to have sex with you then.
Yeah, it would be terrible.
That would be weird to have sex with a silent guy, because I like the talking. I'm a talker too I'm a talker here and boning, but answering the phone.
That's the thing. So I mean, that's a little personal. I get it, but I'm okay with talking about that because it's kind of funny and it is related to my experience in the cult. But yeah, that is the case. I mean, that was 2 years living in a paper tent essentially. With a hallway right outside. I mean, that's just
was she quiet too?
Yes. No, it was like a stealth mission. We were like ninjas.
Oh my God. I could never imagine having silent sex.
Oh, wait, yeah. We pulled the bed off the wall, everything. Yeah.
Do you think Aaron has silent sex?
Oh, I'm not going there.
I'll ask him.
We froze 47 minutes.
You're frozen.
Yeah, that's me.
I can still hear you.
I know. So you stay right on there. I'll be back in a second. This is my Chrome issues.
Okay, I'll talk about Aaron.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing? I'm seeing some people say that the chat's freezing. Some people are saying it's totally fine. Is he adorable? I love this guy, you guys. I love him because he's very much like Aaron to me, but he's more open to talk about things. I feel like we have a good chemistry, a good dynamic. I hope he and I can do something like once a week. I don't know if he likes me back. We'll find out. We'll find out and get back to each other about it. I think he is so sweet. He's so open, and God, anybody would be lucky to be his friend. I really, really like him. I wish we lived in the same city, although we have nothing in common. Apparently he bones quietly. He likes sports. He works out. Like, I'm none of those things. I like to just go out and have nachos, as you all know. It's not my thing. But if he had a baseball game or something, I could see us supporting and going. Like, I go to Huxley's. It looks like he's back. He's back. Okay. Okay.
I've thought about fixing this issue, but it's actually a wonderful out that I can always use if I want to get out of the conversation.
That's what happened.
I froze. Okay, I'll see you later.
Yeah, bye. See you tomorrow.
Yeah,
bye. Is everything back on, guys? Everybody says I think it's okay. One person said I was frozen, but
yeah, well, I think it did. Well, maybe it was just mine. You were frozen on mine, but that's it. So.
Oh, okay.
But that doesn't mean anything.
See, everybody's saying it's fine. Okay. I was just talking about while you were gone, how sweet and adorable you are. And I said, I hope he likes me back because maybe we could talk once a week. I think you and I have a good chemistry and you're very similar to me, like Aaron, but Aaron is more like, he's just a little bit more. I love Aaron, but I feel like it's fun to bounce off of you too. I like talking because Aaron also says this, and he says this a lot. I don't talk about my story. It's boring. And he just
Mhm.
doesn't want to talk about it. I
Right.
enjoy doing this with you and talking about it because it is interesting to compare things
Right.
and just like fun, like you said, it's like some things interweave, like our experiences. And so for me, also, I find it very therapeutic to talk to somebody who understands, who is
Right.
there, who gets it, you know?
Yeah, it is
So
therapeutic. It's a safe person to speak to about it. I mean, even though we're doing it in a public forum.
yeah, but I
Um,
consider all these people, I trust all these people and I consider
right,
them my
right,
friends,
right.
even though Jeff's like, you're way too trusting. I want people to hear this. We could be helping somebody else by having this conversation. Maybe there's
Absolutely.
somebody right now that's watching. There's almost 800 people in this chat. That's a lot. There
Yeah.
could be someone right now who's on the fence, who's been in Scientology, that maybe this will be their breaking point and go, okay, I
Yeah,
got to
they're
get out
thinking
of
right
this.
now, I don't talk during sex either, but if I got out, maybe I will. Let's do this. We're out.
Right. We can have loud sex, honey. Let's go. Exactly. That's
I
so weird
to
that you
finish where
still
I
have
was going with
violent
that
sex
real quick.
stuff.
So yeah. So I'm pretty open with my friends talking about that. Of course, a little more guarded on the tube, like I say, but it was interesting coming from a completely repressed, almost, I don't know what in the real world to compare it with, but it was it's definitely a shocking difference when you leave. Or
Yeah, I bet.
contrast between at least being in the Sea Org
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say for
the
you, it's probably
repression.
even more. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
probably
it
even
was
more for you being in the Sea Org, born and raised.
especially, yeah, at the in base. I mean, it was crazy there on the subject because of course Dave Miscavige always wanted to catch someone. Always wanted to catch
Oh, I'm
someone.
sure. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's like all he does. Um, so let me ask you something. You were married, but you're not married. Obviously, you're single.
Yep.
Is she, can I ask, is she in the Sea Org still?
She is not, and that's a story I've never talked about. I do believe that it's never a good look to talk about your ex-spouse in any bad way, and I don't. It wasn't a pleasant marriage. It was, and not that it ever could have been because of the circumstances, because of the work schedules, because of the constant pressure. Um, it,
Can I ask how
I
long you were married?
8 years, 8 years. Yeah.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and
Okay.
I did
Okay.
some things wrong. I know that for a fact. She also did a lot of things wrong, and played some really strange games. But in the end, I hope she just moved on and she's happy now and that she is living her life. So I don't, I could, it took me a long time to get over what happened in that marriage. And I was angry about it for years and years and years.
Wow.
But at this particular point in my life, it would serve no purpose to say anything other than in the C organization, is it really even a marriage? I've
Yeah.
actually, I've actually been on a date with a girl who was a complete sweetheart from the Midwest.
Of course.
On
We're
Earth, yeah,
sweet from the
of
Midwest.
course. No, she was hilarious, hilarious lady. And we were talking on like the third date, and she mentioned marriage. She hadn't talked about it before, and I said I was married before, and she got pretty upset at me for saying that I hadn't mentioned it the first time we spoke, even though she hadn't asked the question. And I was in the frame of mind. I was like, well, got to be honest with you, it doesn't really count. It's not like I was married in the real world. It's not like that was a real thing. So it's not, I get that some people, there's some baggage connected to having been married and getting divorced. But to me, it doesn't count. My life started in 2005,
Absolutely.
not
Also,
before. Yeah.
I don't feel like somebody should be upset that they didn't know that. I mean,
Yeah. It
you
didn't
know,
last a whole lot longer after that, just so we're, but yeah,
really? That's too bad.
I know.
So,
She was fun though. She was very fun. So
which I'm sure Midwest girl, that makes
yeah.
all the sense in
Midwest
the
girl
world.
living in LA. Yeah. 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 She was.
Yeah. So I don't want to, obviously we won't talk about her much, but I'm just curious. Obviously you don't have kids, right?
No, no, no.
Okay. So you were married 8 years. Did you get divorced in the Sea Org?
No, actually, one of the reasons I was leaving was because of, well, part of the reason, part of the start of my I'm getting the hell out of here was that while I was working there, I just based on her reactions and how she was acting, I was pretty sure she was having an affair with me while I was in the Sea Org. And
What? Oh,
yeah,
wow.
no, it's a crazy story. And I wrote to the ethics section, the HR essentially of Golden Era Productions saying, hey, please investigate this. I know something's up. Well, as it is in the Sea organization, it's really operated in most cases on a whim. She just happened to be in the movie division of Golden Era Productions, which was quite successful at the time. I was in marketing, which was constantly being shit on, was always in trouble. So I got ignored for doing that. And they said, no, you've got no grounds to even say that. She's okay. Well, I eventually then left. And after I left, I found out that she was cheating on me the whole time. Yeah. And even though
how do you cheat in the Sea Org?
Yeah.
It's time for that. How do you cheat silent sex? How do you have silent sex and cheat?
There are dark rooms and dark corners all over that property.
Oh my God, you better be quiet. Okay.
Well, and which is ironic because I was always put on the meter and accused of cheating because guess what? I was nice to everybody. I had a ton of friends, generally I got along with girls there for sure because I was nice. I wasn't a mean person.
I totally see that about you.
Right.
You're one of those guys. You remind me of Huxley, my son. You get along with everybody. And I feel like I have that quality too.
I just want to make it clear because there's some people that are going to watch and say, I don't get along with everybody. That's for sure. But I genuinely like people. I think people are fascinating and I understand the quirks. Yes. And I hope they understand that I have mine, Yeah.
Yes. I feel like I get along with everybody until you give me a reason not to. Then I have no problem not
you
getting
give them the benefit of the doubt. It's always helpful. Yeah.
I'm friendly. I'm not like shitty to strangers. I'm friendly to people until there's a reason.
My coffee cup every morning. I think.
What's it say? I can't see it.
Wait, this way.
Turn it the other way. You're still. I do this all the time. I can't. Turn what? Oh, eternally
optimist.
Optimist. Oh, I love that.
Yeah. My favorite. Oh, that's the right size coffee cup. There's these smaller versions. I don't get it. Like when it's like half the size, it's like, no, that is the right size coffee cup. Yeah.
That's funny though, that you're such an optimist like that. Mine upstairs says bitter, like my personality.
I have a coffee cup I'm going to send you because I have one that's got a middle finger in it. So just when you, no, it's not a middle finger. And on the bottom, when you pull it up, it says something like, it has a swear word at the bottom. So the person across from you can see it.
I love that. That's awesome. Oh my gosh. Anyways, so, okay. So you don't have kids. Obviously you were in the Sea Org.
Yeah.
But you've been out since 2005.
She had a forced abortion.
Oh my God.
Yeah. And I do remember when that happened because she didn't tell me. So she had a forced abortion, but she didn't tell me she was pregnant. That butt hurt me a little bit. I have to admit that because there was that one fleeting moment where I thought, hey, I could have a kid to play catch with. I could throw a baseball with him. As you probably know by now, I'm a giant baseball fan. I was excited about that when I found out, when she told me she had, I was upset with her, but the thought just crossed my mind at that moment, what could have been. So that was kind of devastating. But of course that lasted for about 30 minutes because I went back to work. But
that's horrible. I'm so sorry. I did not know that. Yeah. And I just say, I think you would be a great dad. Like you seem like, and you're not too old. Like, would you want kids?
Oh yeah, that's a question I get asked a lot. No pressure from my mom. Absolutely puts no pressure on me about this.
I'm sure she doesn't. Why would she?
You know what? Jenna has handled the quota for adorable grandchildren already. Her kids are fantastic. So
how many kids does she have?
She has 2.
Okay.
Yeah, and they're really, really cute.
But you seem like the type of guy that would be very good at parenting. Like I just have to say, there's some people that shine for me that I'm like, ooh, he'd be a great dad. I feel like you'd be a really good dad. So it could happen for you.
It could. We'd hope so. I don't know at this point in life. again, because I talk about it a lot, where 2005 is really where my life started again. And I was kind of on a mission to experience everything I could, to travel, to do all that kind of stuff. And maybe I've hit that point, but I'm still pretty, Arrested Development to some degree. I'm still pretty childish or boyish in my endeavors. And I really enjoy trying to do the most I can in life. And I don't know if fatherhood at this point would hinder that so much. So we would see. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, even my twin brother, Justin, he's also, his girlfriend has two adorable kids, and they love him to death. He is, and I hear him on the phone. He is so good with kids and stuff like that. It's just, maybe it's something that runs, I don't know, in our family, because my dad Foster was that way too. Everyone loves Foster. He was just good. I don't have a complaint about my dad as far as raising me at all. He again, he was absent sometimes, but he was definitely just a sweetheart, and I have so many fond memories. Now, that being said, by the way, and while we're on the subject, is that Justin was actually raised in quite a different environment than me, which is interesting to see. Justin is a funny, outgoing person, but I would argue that I'm a little more buoyant on the outside. And I think that does have to do, Ron Miscavige Jr., I think, was a little more strict and a little more, all his ducks were in a row. Foster was more sloppy and happy-go-lucky and wing it. And so I think I picked that up from him. I also picked up from Barbara, my stepmom. And these are two people, again, that I've made the statement, and I have to make the statement, is there are people that are in Scientology that are cult members that bought the bullshit, but they're genuinely good people. And I have to say that Foster and Barbara, definitely in that category. Barbara, she taught me as a kid. I would walk around with her around AOLA, and I would spend time with her. She would talk to everybody, and everyone wanted to talk to her. She was so outgoing and so nice that I think I picked that up from her as a general thing, to talk to people that way. And I picked it up as a trait that I thought was valuable, because she really, really is a sweet person. And I say that, and people are going to go,
it makes me sad.
Yeah. And people are going to go, well, she also did take the scissors to all the family photos and cut my face out. So there's parts, but I blame that on the cult. I blame that on the cult.
Sure. Yeah. That doesn't make her like rotten to the core. Not at all.
Not at all. And I know people that have left children that were younger than me that were at the Ant Ranch, and their parents are still there, but I knew their parents pretty well. And I would arguably say the same thing about their parents. Laura Anderson. Phil Anderson, nicest guy in the world. Phil Anderson was such a cool guy. Now, I've seen her conversations in the movie she did, an interview, and it's horrific to hear them, but it sounds just like my dad. And I would compare Phil Anderson to my dad. I think they were both genuinely nice people. Laura's mom, Diane, super dedicated to what she did. Super, super dedicated, but also a sweetheart. It's just unfortunate that the brainwashing in that cult convinced them that the most important thing in the world is Scientology and not their children. Because if you're a parent, and I'm not, but I'm sure you'll agree, the most important thing in the world is your children. And how can you argue with that? I mean, that procreation and creating, that is, forwarding civilization by having children is kind of what, the thing is. And
you shouldn't have them if that's not the agreement you're going to make, basically, at the moment of having them. It's like, you take the responsibility on for their life. It's almost, I hate to compare it, but I love animals this much. It's like being a pet owner. This isn't something where, oh, it's cute, and then we're going to dump it out on the street when we don't like it anymore. Right. It's kind of similar. It is. It's like, this is a responsibility. I have a close friend
who has two kids, and whenever she says, oh my God, one kid's sick, this kid's this, I'm like, yes, I know, I understand you. I have pets. She always gets really pissed at me.
Actually, well, I don't know if you know enough about me, but like my animals are super important to me.
Okay. I didn't know
very,
that.
I'm very, very big animal lover, and my own animals are very important to me. So yeah, no, I get that. I guess what I'm saying is it's a huge responsibility having kids, and
Yeah.
it's for life. And I like what you said there, because I think my dad is rotten to the core. I think he's
Right.
just was always evil, and I don't think he should have had kids. My in-laws, I don't think they're bad people. I think they're, like you just said, I think they're brainwashed, and it's
Yeah.
a shame because I think they're good people. I think they love Huxley, and it's sad that they chose that path, but it is the path they chose.
And before I
So,
forget, I love the name Huxley.
oh, well,
Yeah, I think
thanks.
that's such a cool name. Every time you
I think
say
it's a
it,
cool name
I,
too.
I,
Yeah.
I think of someone in a tuxedo, but I still think it's a fantastic name. And I love it when people have original names like that you don't hear a lot. And Huxley's a really cool
Yeah.
name because
I like it too
even as an
because it's not
abbreviation, it's hey Hux, how
Hux.
you doing?
Yeah, Hux is a cool
It's so
nickname, and
good.
I like that it's not too off the wall that, like, you're like, "What? How do you say that name?" Or, it's not hard.
Right.
But thank you. Yeah, it's a cool name. I thought that when I had him. I tried to imagine being like a 25-year-old guy with the name Huxley, and I was like, "Yeah, that's still a cool name." So
Oh,
I like it.
absolutely. And if
Yeah,
he ever becomes a
cool.
banker, he's in like Flint. I mean, that's just
That's
like
what I always thought. It's weird
yeah.
that you say that, because I always thought of like a banker with that name, like Huxley, like rolling up in a nice car, and I don't know. I just like a banker. That's cool.
Well,
Um,
please, I would, since I'm dominating a little bit this conversation, but that's okay because I know you're asking questions. Can you tell me why? So I talked about my dad and how I knew he was a good person. What about your dad convinced you? And it does sound like he's not a good person, and I hope I'm okay in saying that. But what about you being raised by him? What indicators show that is the case for you, with your opinion on your father?
that's a good question. It's weird too that I said he's rotten, because I really loved my dad. I was very into my dad, but I think it's because he's all I had. My mom left when I was 6. We joined the cadet org when I was 7, got
Where
out
did
when
you
I
join the
was
cadet org?
8.
Where?
Clearwater.
Okay.
I got out when I was about 8, and then my sister left. She went to live with my mom. So I was, from then on, raised by my dad, and I have a lot of good memories with him. I mean, he was very harsh. I don't ever recall my dad saying "I love you" to either one of us, me or my sister. Not affectionate at all, and extreme standards. Like, just, and I told Aaron this. I was always doing lower conditions to my dad. When my mom left, I bleached one of his favorite T-shirts because I didn't know how to do laundry, and he put me in lower conditions over that.
To be clear, he
And
actually made you write up lower conditions?
yeah,
See
yeah,
I'm Reese, that's just, I can't even. Like, I grew up in the Sea Org. I didn't hear about conditions until I was 11 or 10 years old when I joined SEMO PAC. Like, the fact that's, I guess that
yeah.
alone should be an indicator of the type of personality.
Well, he
Like,
took it hardcore, Scientology. He took it
wow.
very seriously. He would tell us we were in lower conditions. I remember from a very young age, him calling me a downstat and a bank. And I had no idea what those words meant. I remember being 5 years old, and he was like, "You're a goddamn bank." And I was like, I just remember crying and like being upset, but I didn't know I had no idea what that meant.
Right. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Um,
I'm sorry that was that way.
No, it's nice
That's
of you to
just,
say, but
yeah.
it's okay. But those are the memories I have of, like, he actually wasn't a good father. Because I remember, like, going to restaurants with my dad. Was very wealthy, and I guess he still is. And he was not cheap. So, like, we would go out a lot, and he definitely spent money on me. We'd buy me things, and um, so it was like this weird give and take. Like, he was mean, 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 and abusive with words, but I remember one time, like, I think I must have been in junior high, and I had a couple of friends, and they were like wanting to go to Target and get clothes. And I was like, "Can I go with them? Can I have money?" And he was like, "We do not buy clothes at Target." Like,
Whoa.
it was like he was mad about it. Like, we buy high-end stuff around here.
Wow,
Like,
that's
it was
interesting.
just
You would
so
not.
weird. He always carried around this really thick ball of money because he was a big time pool hustler. He played pool. He owned a company too, but
Yeah.
he would come home, he would leave for days. And I was alone. My mom was gone, my sister was gone. So when I was like 7, 8 years old, he'd be gone playing pool for a couple of days. And I would just make my own food and go to school and walk to school. And but he'd come home with like it was like a mafia situation, like thick money wad. And
Did
it
your
was
dad own a waste management company by any chance?
no, he owned a construction company.
Oh, so just as bad. He might be
Kind of
mafia.
similar. He
He
could be,
might be
it could
mafia
have
at
been
least.
money laundering. I don't know. It was a very successful company, and I think there was some under the table stuff going on. I'll tell you that. I don't know, but it was weird.
Which then the church would happily take his money, obviously, too, and
Happily
wash it
take his
for him.
money.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so it was kind of sad for me, Sterling, because I had all these good memories, but now that I look back, I'm like, that was actually really kind of toxic. And he was just very mean. He was it was very conditional, like
Right.
you better be upstat or you're a downstat. And so those things. And then I saw him for the first time in years at the Ideal Org opening here in Kansas City in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
And that was weird for me. It was very emotional. I remember because I still have this, not anymore, but back in 2019, I had this hope still that my dad would pick up the phone and call me one day and just go, "Hey, I really love you and I'm sorry. Like, I'm going to cry if I talk about it too much, and we're not here to cry. I usually only cry by myself with everyone. I don't want to do it to you." But I saw him and it was super emotional because we made eye contact. He was right there. He never said a word to me. He just acted like I didn't exist. And it was
Right.
assigned seating. And I don't know who did this. I don't know why they did it, who was in charge of it, but he sat. I mean, Jeff went with me, and Jeff will tell you, he goes, I could have reached back and touched him. He sat right behind me.
Wow.
So for the whole opening, I had to sit there and just I was so uncomfortable that he was right behind me. I hadn't seen him in decades. And it was so sad for me that my dad didn't acknowledge me. It was really hard to just.
And this, you were a Scientologist in good standing at this point.
Yes. That's why it was so hard. That's why it was even harder. I was on my survival rundown. I was putting in all kinds of crazy hours. I was having, I had to have a repair. So I had a field auditor come and do my repair. So it hurt even more. And that's when I really started to unravel with the church, was actually in that moment. I was like, this is not normal. This isn't normal that I'm an active, in good standing Scientologist. This guy's donated millions and he hates my guts.
Right.
And he's disconnected from me. And everybody's going, "Oh, I love your dad. He's given so much." And it's really twisted. And I started to really question that at that point. I was like, this is not right that I have a child that he doesn't know, that
Wow.
I was like, this isn't right that I own my own house. I'm successful. I'm in Scientology, and this guy is behind me and can't even say hello. And he wouldn't. So
Wow.
those
That's
are the
insane.
original question you asked me. That's why I say he's rotten. There's nothing good about him.
He is. Really, everyone's got an individual story for themselves, why that may be the case, but that's horrible. I can't believe that someone would sit directly behind you and not say anything. But it does go to the mindset of a Scientologist, but you also have to say that's him as an individual too. You cannot put all the blame on Scientology always. I think you will agree with me on that. Some people just are bad apples. And Scientology just gives them an opportunity to amp it up or put it on steroids, such as a Jenny Linson. Jenny Linson, who's an executive at the international base, is notorious for being the Wicked Witch of the West, East, North, and South. And she just, whatever Scientology does for her ego amps her up, and she's just doubly nasty to people.
Yeah. But I have to say what you just said, it shows who he is. But at the time, sitting in that chair, I immediately went back to my 5-year-old self and I was like, I must be a downstat. He made me feel like I'm such a bank that you won't communicate with me. It was just this, it just went, I felt so small. I wanted to leave that ceremony so badly. I was just like, I can't do it. I was having, if there is, you could describe what a panic attack is, because we don't use those words in Scientology. I felt like that's what was happening. I was having trouble breathing. I was like, he's behind me and I know he's there and he won't acknowledge me. And it just makes me feel like this piece of shit.
Wow.
So I really hate him. And I'm going to say something right now that I've never said on YouTube. And I've been thinking about, I don't know why I'm going to do this with you here. It doesn't matter to you. I'm sorry to take up our time on this, but
No, not at all. Please.
since I was little, my dad has 3 girls. I'm one of them. I'm the youngest. He has this giant, it's huge, this book, and it's a blank page book. And he started writing in this book when I was born. It's a baby book, I guess.
Mhm.
And he wrote in this book all the time when I was born. And then I remember being like 4 or 5, and I would run down and jump into his lap, and I'd pull the book out and I'd go, write a page, write a page. And he'd go, I'll only do it if you go to bed. And I would go, okay. But write about me, write my story. And so he would write, and he wrote until I was on staff. So that started from birth until I got to staff. And when I left staff and he disconnected from me, I was in Omaha a couple months after I blew staff, and a cousin of mine in Kansas City died, his sister's son. And the kid was my age. He died in a car accident. And he called me and told me about it. And he said, you're going to need to go to the funeral. And I said, okay. And my sister in Omaha was going to come pick me up, and we were going to follow him to the funeral. How awkward, right? Because my dad disconnected from me.
Right.
And my sister wasn't there yet. And he showed up to where I was living so that we could follow him. And I came outside, and that was the first time I had seen him since I blew. And he said, I'm not your father anymore.
Wow.
And he rolled the window down, and I said, hi, Dad. And he handed me the book, and he said, I'll never need this again.
Wow. Reese, I'm the only time I cry is when I talk about my dad, and I'm sorry about that.
No,
again,
it's okay.
That's not even Scientology. That's the character of that particular person. That's the worst thing you can do to someone. And I'm sorry that happened to you.
It's okay. Thank you for saying that. The point is, I have this book
with
everything in it. There's everything in it. In this book, he talks about my relationship with Shane, the guy that I was having sex with underage. He talks about that.
Right.
So the joke's kind of on him, because I'm sure he wishes now he would have never given me that book. He talks about everything in Scientology in that book.
Wow.
And he talks about us being in the cadet org and all of those things. So I have it in, my attorney told me to put it in a locked place. What do you call those things at a bank?
Lockbox or
safety. Safety deposit box.
Yeah.
So I have it there, but I also have copies of it here. And I thought, I kind of want to read it to everybody. And if I ever write a book, I want to put it in there.
Yes.
I want to put that in there.
Absolutely, you should. Absolutely, you should.
Yeah. And it shows what
I've always said there's one person I want to punch if I ever get the chance, and that was Russ Bellin. I've now added your dad to my list. Just so you know.
It was hard.
And I'm not a violent guy. So
it was really tough. I'll never forget that. I was so excited to see him, but scared at the same time. And he rolled that window down, and I thought he was going to maybe have a change of heart. I didn't know 20, 30 years were going to go by and he still was going to feel this way. I thought he would warm up and thaw out, but he handed me that book, and I'll never forget that. He was just like, I won't ever need this again.
What's worse is it's premeditated. That means he thought about getting that book so that he knew he could see you. And
he brought it with him. Yeah, he brought it with him just to say, the official disconnection. I fucking hate you. I'll never write in this thing again. I've been writing in it for the last 16 years. It's yours because I've washed my hands of you.
Yeah.
And that's Scientology, guys.
Yeah. You turned out to be a wonderful person.
Thank you.
Flawed like all of us, but wonderful nonetheless. Your personality shines through, and people are going to see that. And again, it's something I did say in my video the other day too. Also, believe it or not, everyone watching, no matter how much we smile, we laugh, we talk, there's no way that any of us walk away from that cult without some damage, and we deal with it our own ways. And Reese, I appreciate you telling me that story.
I'm glad I told you, actually. I'm glad you're the person I told.
Yes. Thank you so much. And that, I'm burning up a little bit inside with that story. Because when it comes to dads and Scientology and disconnection, that's my weak spot. That's my the part that hurts the most. So maybe that's the reason you decided to share it. But again, I'm sorry. That's horrible. But you talking about that book, I think would be in the future. Hopefully it's therapeutic to you, but I think that's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, thank you. I think it will be. I think it would be nice because I feel like I know everybody now and they know me. And honestly, I haven't read it in a long time. It's hard for me to read it because he's very complimentary of me in the beginning of my life.
Right.
He's like, it's so creepy though at the same time. Like I read a part where I was born and he was like, he's so Scientology. It's all he thinks with. He's like, he never liked my sister as much as me. You can tell he was not as friendly to her. She was more sick when she was born, which automatically makes her a downstat. And
Oh,
so he
right.
says that he
Right.
compares us in the book and he goes, well, kid, he's like, you were born in 45 minutes. He's like, which shows you're confront on this world already. He was like, you're ready to tackle things. He was like, unlike your sister, your mother was in labor for this long and she came out sickly. And he was like, but not you. You were ready to confront things on life. It's so awful.
Now we need
It's
to do a
so
series called
awful.
"Stupid Shit Scientologists Say." I'm
Well,
already
we've
doing a
done that with
stupid.
the audios.
Yeah, you have. There's so, and I do that. I'm on my series of stupid shit Tom Cruise says. When he told everyone, all Scientologists and SEAL members in the world, that he would like to be out vacationing and romping, but he knows. Like, you know what, dick? Like, and
What an
again,
idiot.
I will say it. I was the biggest Tom Cruise fan. Top Gun was my favorite movie growing up. I wanted to be a fighter pilot, believe it or not, as a kid, even more than baseball at some point. But when I was there and I saw that video, I'm like, Dick, what is your problem? Like, are you joking? Do you realize that everyone can just go to a magazine stand and see the photos of you romping, and then you're going to
He's a
make that
total
public
dick.
statement to Scientologists and Sea Org members? And I remember I got totally called
Sorry.
Mr. Cruz. I was like, fuck no, I'm not calling
I've
him that.
never liked him. Even in Scientology, I never liked him. I always loved John Travolta,
Oh,
but I
Travolta's a
never
nice
liked
guy.
Tom
Yeah.
Cruise. He's always come off as such a douchebag to me. I just
Yeah.
never liked the guy.
No,
And I've
he
never
became
seen that movie,
super
Top
douchey.
Gun.
He wasn't. Yeah, he became that way. I think he was actually quite a nice person before. At least I've been told he was.
I wouldn't be surprised. I think a lot of people probably wind up like my dad, I think was always pretty awful. But I think there's a lot of good people who probably join and end up like Tom Cruise. They're
Yes.
just like
Yeah.
asshole, better than you, entitled person that doesn't.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, it's back to the Jenny Linson thing. I do think if the person has a proclivity, is that the word, towards that sort of behavior, Scientology gives you an access to use or put that out, right?
Yeah.
I do think it does. That's why I do think you have good people that were there that left that are still good people. There's just so much. I mean, another one's like Mike Brown. I don't think you've spoken to him. You've probably seen
I
his
want
interviews.
to. He
He's
seems
a
like a really
fantastic
cool
guy.
guy.
He's
I
such a
want to
good
meet
guy.
him.
Yeah,
Yes.
I was
want to
so
meet that
happy
guy.
to get back in touch with him. I actually had lost track. I didn't know where he went. I was like, where is
Oh.
Mike? I was so happy to get back in touch with him because,
Oh.
again, there's a person that I grew up with. Justin, Mike Norton, another person you haven't met, Mike Brown. We were like the that was our original group. We were all the really close friends and had a great time at the ranch, which is another controversial statement, but we had a great time at the ranch. Again, some people took issue with that statement, but that those people didn't know that we came from LA, where we almost got the shit kicked out of us and our bikes stolen. And we were constantly moving around anywhere near the complex in fear of being mugged. So when we went to a location that was 300 acres and we had motorcycles, we were a little happier. That's for sure.
Yeah, I could see that.
But then it did absolutely get worse. It got horrible at the ranch. I get that, but I wasn't there. I was already at the base. But anyways,
Wow.
no, it's really, I'm sorry to hear that. Your dad's an ass. I have to say
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, that's why it sounds really harsh, but like if somebody were to say, "Hey, did you hear your dad died?" I would totally feel a little more free. I would feel a little bit better knowing like that's not here anymore. I
Right.
don't know. Jeff can't think with that. He says that he's like, I can't even imagine feeling that way about someone. And I'm like, well, I was a Scientologist. It's actually pretty easy.
Right.
We can be pretty dark.
Dark, and because death doesn't mean the same thing to a Scientologist as it means
Not at
to
all.
no,
Not
at
at all.
all.
No. And I still feel that way.
Doesn't. Yeah, they don't. It's not a it's just not a
Oh, it's like getting out of a car and getting into another car. I mean, it's just no big deal. But
Yeah.
I still feel that way. Death is not scary to me. I'm not worried
Right.
about it. It's just not a big deal. But with him, yeah. And I think I've not talked about this publicly until just now, but I just think his image means a lot to him. So I think it would be a good thing to start reading the book, and hopefully it would get back to him that I'm doing that, and I'm sure that's why I keep it locked up, because I think, oh my God, it would be worth it probably for somebody to break into my house and try to find that book and steal it.
And I hope at this point he sees this video today and he regrets giving you that book, because that's what you're going to do with it. I really do.
He would never see this video. He would never. He wouldn't. But it might get back to him somehow. Maybe he'll get sent to ethics over it. Like, what is this book, and what's in it?
What do we have to be worried about? Can I ask you an off the subject question that I've always been fascinated to ask a public Scientologist?
Ask me anything.
You saw all the events for years.
Oh yeah.
Did you have a favorite speaker at the events? Did you have someone you liked more than others? And I'll follow this up with a little interesting story.
You mean back before they were all put in the hole?
Yes. Like when you would have 4 to 5 speakers an event, when you had your Guillaume, Mark Yeager.
I liked Heber.
Okay. Okay. That's interesting. So did most people, including inside the C organization. They did a survey at one point up at INT, or Dave Miscavige asked for a survey to be done of who the most popular speakers were. And as the story goes, because I heard it third person, apparently Heber was the most popular speaker. And then I believe it was Ronnie Miscavige Jr. And then I believe it was Dave Miscavige. And
wow.
I think that rubbed him the wrong way. And he partially started mistreating or being a little more nasty towards some people, because he realized that, Scientologists really didn't like his speaking as much as they liked Heber's, because Heber was actually, oh my God, he was so good.
Yeah,
he was so
really
fun
good
to listen to, even though it was all about psychiatry and it was all a bunch of mumbo jumbo. Heber was really, really good. Yeah. And did you get the creeps from David Miscavige, or what was your
always?
Did you ever meet him?
Yes, twice.
Really?
I got an award from him in St. Hill. I flew to St. Hill because my dad made me a patron. So I went to the patrons ball when I was 16, and I received my award from him. And that was the first time I met him. I always was uncomfortable with him. I thought he seemed extremely intimidating and just never nice. I mean, but do people not realize that? Like when I was on staff, it was like, if we don't get this done, COB said heads are going to roll. That's how he was always portrayed. It was like this mean, stats up or heads roll. And then I met him in Kansas City once, and he was very intimidating. I never got good vibes off of him. Never.
Yeah, no, that is his personality. I asked that because I'm interested, because again, you didn't know about the beatings and the mistreatment unless you were actually up at the INT base or gold base.
Never knew
like
about it.
Even Aaron didn't know about those things until later on when he talked to Mike Rinder about them. And Aaron and I have spoken about how he was Team Miscavige for sure. And I get that. So was I at one point. Of course I was. When I first joined, I was like, oh my God, this guy, that's what I want to look up to.
Oh yeah.
But then my mind started going, well, he also has a motorcycle and a car. I wonder why I can't have those, which is a weird train of thought that I went to. But
yeah,
I'm always interested in asking that question, because some people really looked up to him, and I get that. He was a decent public speaker, and he had that sort of it factor for Scientologists. But I also was acutely aware that some people had to have like that vibe he gives off, which is a little creepy and a little bit like even his over the top handshake or whatever that may be.
Yeah.
He definitely, and don't get me wrong, again, he can also be super charming, but I don't think he was super charming to Sea Org members or staff members ever, because they were beneath him.
Never.
I think he could be charming to public facing figures, so that it didn't look as bad. But I always was,
Gavin?
I was wondering.
Gavin.
Yeah.
Who's Gavin? Do you remember Gavin?
Oh,
Gavin.
no, you're
What's his
not the
last name?
recruiting guy.
Yeah.
I don't remember his last name. I never met him.
Okay. I met him a few times. He came through Kansas City and he reminded me so much of David Miscavige. It was like he was trying to be David Miscavige.
Oh, yeah.
They were very similar. I can't think of his last name.
Potter.
Yeah, Gavin Potter. He was so much like Miscavige, in my opinion. Yeah, I was one of the believers. I never looked with a lot of respect to COB. I always was kind of one of the people who I was like, I'm waiting for LRH to come back.
Interesting.
Yeah, I have way more respect for LRH. Now, still not enough. Like when they did the hip hip hooray thing, I would never join in on that. I thought it was weird. I thought there was a little too much. I thought it was a little too worshipy.
Yeah.
But I still liked him more than David Miscavige.
Right.
And I don't know. I just, as a woman, David Miscavige always gave me the creeps. I don't like men who try to be super intimidating and use like their power to be mean and come off as very intimidating. And I always thought he was that way. It was always this scary. As a staff member, it was like, if you don't get this done, Miscavige himself. Like it was never a good thing. It was never supportive. Like Mr. Miscavige is so excited for us to make our target. You know, it was never like that.
No. And it's so funny because I've spoken about that with Aaron. When you have the most dedicated group of people, arguably in the world working for you, it would be so easy to keep up a high level of morale and get a lot done without all the punishment, without all the endless nights of no sleep and the horrible food and conditions. It would have been it. Look at Golden Air Productions could have been a paradise. So easily been a paradise. But you had a malicious, violent, malignant guy running the place, and that's the only reason it was that horrible. Scientology is still a cult. The beliefs are still crazy, but
it could have been a better experience for sure.
Absolutely.
Yes, I agree. If you had had a better leader that actually cared about people, actually the cult part doesn't seem that bad.
No,
that part isn't that bad. You want to have a bunch of people studying L. Ron Hubbard technology? Who cares? It's not really hurting anyone.
Right.
It's the leader and how forceful and mean he is to the people.
Right.
You know, you want to go do a locational and apply your weird technology. That's not really hurting anybody. You look a little cuckoo, but you know, I don't know. You make a good point. That's a good point.
And let's be honest, it's not big enough. I mean, it's not big enough. Like I'm all for let people do Scientology day and night. Just stop the disconnection.
Yes.
Stop the harassment.
Yes. Stop the harm. Really, it's just the harm. It does. You could apply Scientology and not be harmful. You could.
Absolutely.
If
you could say that a lot of Scientologists are quite nice people, and that's also a true statement. That's also a true statement.
Very much so.
Until they get to the rock and the hard place where if you're saying a truth about Scientology, but it disagrees with what they.
Oh no. He froze again. That sucks. You guys, this is such a good interview. Real quick, while he's frozen, I wonder if he can hear me. Do you think it would be fun if he's available? He's available on Wednesdays and Sundays. I think it would be fun to do like a Sunday, maybe one Sunday, every Sunday, or like every other, do Sundays with Sterling. Wouldn't that be fun? Doesn't that sound fun? Am I frozen too to you guys? Can anybody hear me? Does anybody even know what I just said? Am I frozen? Someone say something. Okay. Yes. This is he is really fun to talk to. I really like him. I like him a lot. Hopefully he comes back. I think we're going to wrap it up. We were only going to keep it to about an hour and a half. I'm going to mute it for a second. Hold on. I feel bad. Jeff wanted me to go somewhere with him at 1:30, but it's 1:40 and I was seeing if he was still in the house. I think he left. I like this guy a lot and he's so understanding. And do you guys notice? I love this about a person. I love how he listens to me and then he goes, I'm so sorry that happened. I'm that way too. Like I really absorb it and I want to help you once I hear that. And I really like that about him. Like most men, I find don't really do that. Women do it a lot with me, but I don't find a lot of men the way that he is. And I think we have really good. Oh, okay. So he has a power outage. Okay. He has a power outage. So he's done. Um, yes, I really, really enjoyed this. Like he is super, super, like he gives you his full attention. Um, and I just really enjoyed this guy a lot. I really, really liked him. He's answering me. Um, okay. He just answered me with an emoji. So, yeah, he's easy to talk to. And I'm frozen too. Am I frozen? Rhonda W says I'm frozen. Huh. I hope not. Yeah, he's funny. He's easy to talk to. He just seems like such a good person. And today was really um the first time I got to know him. We did our game show the other night, but I just enjoyed him. I didn't really get to know him. So yeah, at least maybe I realize he's probably busy I'm sure he lines up stuff with other people. Um, but I'm thinking like every other Sunday we do a Sunday with Sterling. It's very therapeutic for me to have these conversations, and Aaron and I don't always have them. And Aaron, like he said, he doesn't like to talk about his story, and that's okay. It's what everybody's comfortable with. But I like that this guy talks about his story. I think that's really cool. And I like that we can bounce things off of each other. And he's just a great guy. And then what do you guys think about the book? I want to talk to you guys about that while we're all still here. That was hard for me. I've been wanting to share that with you guys. What'd you say, Ray? I don't mind him. I love that he gives back and doesn't shut you down, but I love my Reese singularly. I love you, Ray. And I love that you guys like to have me on solo because I enjoy it too. I need my time with you guys. I've always said that. Um, the book. The book is something I have been not talking about since I started my channel. And what do you guys think? No, Willie Weed, I haven't been doing Sundays with Jeff as much. What do you guys think about me reading some of the book to you guys? Um, it will be hard. It will be something I want to do just me and you because I don't want to do that with Aaron. Um, I will probably cry through that a lot. It will be new for me, as new as it is for you when you hear it, because I haven't read it intentionally. Because it's really hard for me to do. It's really hard for me to kind of relive that and remember that there was a time that my dad liked me. Um, Third Eye Open, you'll want to go back and watch this. It's a book that my dad wrote about my life. Um, Jeff, you're so cute. That's a good idea, actually, you guys, because you all have crazy attraction to Jeff's sexy voice. Jeff, did you leave, by the way? Because I was going to sign off and go with you, but I think you left, which is even more scary because that means you're driving right now and typing. But I was going to go with you, honey. I'm sorry. That sucks. Jeff, that's a good idea, Lori. Yes. Jeff says he could be the male voiceover reader. You know what? That's a great idea because I might need Jeff to do that anyway. I don't know if I could read it and not cry. Um, that's not a bad idea. I didn't think about that. I did not think about that. That book is extremely emotional for me, and I just don't know if it's something. What the shit? Did it just get brighter in here, or was that me? Do I have cataracts? Are my retinas detaching? What's going on? Did you guys see that? Did it just get brighter and then it got dim again? Oh my God. I hope it's not my retinas. I'm always afraid of that surgery when people have a retinal detachment. Um, Okay, someone said it did get brighter. That was weird. Okay, good. We're safe though. My retinas are safe. I've been told I need to watch that because I have extra long retinas. I have a short cervix, but I have longer retinas because my vision's so bad. Whew, that was scary. For a second, I really thought my retinas detached, although it's highly rare for both of them to detach. So would have just been one. Um, okay. So anyway, okay. What do you guys think about that? What do you think? I think it's a yes. Um, yeah, Aaron doesn't like to show his feelings so much. He doesn't like to make it about that. And we're the opposite. All we do is talk about our feelings here, and that's a safe place to do it. We all do it. Oh, well, thank you, oh Susie Q. And by the way, guys, sorry I wasn't reading your let me make sure Sterling didn't answer me. I have do not disturb on. Okay. Sorry I wasn't reading your chats during this. It was our first time talking, Sterling and I, one on one like that. And I didn't want to keep interrupting him. And he also couldn't see the chats. So I didn't want to be like, oh, hold that thought and read the chat. So if you guys had questions and stuff, I'm sorry that I wasn't stopping to do that. I just don't want you to feel like I was ignoring you. I was ignoring you, but it was for that reason. I just was really intent on what he was saying. And also, I liked his questions for me. So I wanted to be able to think it through and answer him without having to worry about that. Um, yes. Okay. So I think the book is a good idea. And I thought the book would be a great idea when I do write my book one day, to put the book from my dad, the journal from my dad in the book. Um, yeah, Ray. And then that's a great idea. Jeff could read it as Burl Ives. You know, Jeff does have the best voice. He has the sexiest voice. He sounds just like Burl Ives or Donald Sutherland. So that's a good idea. And maybe one day when I actually release a book, he could do the audio version. Um, but yeah, Jeff has a nice projecting voice that would be a good thing. If he would be willing to take the time to sit here and read it, I don't know, would that be awkward though while I'm just sitting there crying? Because I will cry through this book. It'll be hard for me. Um, it'll be really a difficult test for me just to relive that stuff. Um, but that actually does seem like a good idea. Ray, I just love you. Um, okay. I'm glad we did this. Isn't it weird that I talked about the book for the first time with Sterling? It's so silly, but he is so easy to talk to. And he asks such good questions. He's so natural. I just really love that guy. I wish he was closer. Um, I feel like I would be his friend. Um, that's a good question. Has he even read it yet? K Dirk says, meaning Jeff. Jeff hasn't read the book. I've read him some of the book, and then I turned it over to my attorney. Um, so she has a copy of the book, and I have a copy of the book, but I don't have the book with me because I was afraid, seriously, that somebody would try to take it because it's hardcore evidence and proof if there were a lawsuit, from my father's words. I mean, it's just kind of perfect in the end, isn't it? It to me, it's like you want to cast me off, you want to disconnect from me, you want to say I'm a liar, like Dan O'Connor probably. I'm sure my dad's going, none of this shit's true. She's a liar. And Dan O'Connor is going, I barely know that woman, or whatever he said. Well, unfortunately, I've got a whole book that you wrote, and all of it, all those things are in it. The only thing I have to sneeze, I think, hold on. Okay. The only thing that's not in the book is the fax machine incident because he disconnected from me the day of the fax machine incident. So he didn't go home and write anything after that again. He hated me after that point. So he didn't put anything in it. But he did put in it. I think there's an exact quote that says, you're on staff. And he says, your favorite staff member, you two have become very, very close, is Dan O'Connor. It's really interesting that my dad wrote that, yet Dan O'Connor is saying, what did he say? Oh, I'm hallucinating. And he called me that woman. Fascinating, Dan. Just the facts, Dan. Come on. That's a lie because it came from Gene Wally himself. So it's pretty good stuff, and it's something Scientology would not want released, I'm sure. Now, it's not all Scientology, guys. A lot of it's my life. It's just stuff. That's why I mean, am I frozen? No. That's why I mean, I will cry probably because he said he's like a real father in it for some of the time. He talks about, like what a cute kid I was and riding my bike and Christmas. And he talks like a real dad would talk. He just wasn't. He was just, I guess what all I can say about that is all that glitters is not gold. So he made it look good in a nice package, but it wasn't. But he does talk a lot about Scientology in it, and he's very Scientological in his in the way he talks. Like I said, the way I was born. He's like, "Well, kiddo," he's like, "You came out with a lot of confront right off the bat," and it's like, I was an infant. It doesn't have anything to do with confront, dude. Yeah, I'll talk about it in therapy. But I think this would be helpful, and why not? We've talked about everything else. I mean, why not? Why wouldn't I talk about this? And I've been wanting to share it with you guys. So I think it would be a good thing. I just think it'll be hard. There's a lot of parts in it where he's proud of me, and he's like I say, he's a good father. So oh, Ray, I already scanned it in. What is that noise? Hold on, guys. I'm going to mute it. Hold on. That's never a good thing. I just heard a noise and I was like, Huxley. And he said, it was the vacuum. Why would a 13-year-old be vacuuming? He said he spilled some electrolytes on the floor. We'll see if that's true. Yeah. So I think it will be very emotional. I think you guys should prepare for that. I think it'll be hard. Oh, I made copies, Deborah. There are copies all over the place of that book. My attorney has all the copies of that book. My attorney has all the audios. My attorney has every bit of evidence for a just in case situation. So don't worry about that. I don't even have the book. Like I said, it's in a safety deposit box. We had to get a special one because the book is huge. It's like 16 inches wide. It's a really big book. It won't fit in a standard safety deposit box. So I had to rent one for guns. I had to rent one at a bank, and I had to search all over town for banks that had that because there weren't very many. So it's in a safety deposit box and we're good. Maria, it's not the right time for you to read it yet. I don't know why not. I think it is. I feel like it is. Did he say you were banging married people? I wasn't. Shane wasn't married, Ray. But he talks about Shane and I being in a 2D, which is the second dynamic, which is sex and the relationship. So yes, he talks about it from his words. So that's another thing. He couldn't be like, oh, I didn't know about that. Yeah, you did know. You wrote about it. Oh yeah, Ray. He brings up all kinds of Scientology jargon. Absolutely. Yeah, that's a good idea, Ray. You could analyze and explain what the viewpoint is and how it affects his behavior parenting. Well, I don't even know that I need to do that, but he pretty much speaks for himself there on what kind of a parent he is. I think it would be a pretty golden thing to read. And again, oh my God, that's a great name for my book, Dana. All that glitters is not gold. Just another Scientology tale. That's a great name for the book. That is. I think it would be helpful. You guys are my friends. I want you guys to be in on this with me. This is a journey to me. I don't usually use that word, but to me, that's how I would describe this. You guys are with me. I know you're with me because I talk with most of you privately and I know your hearts and I know where you stand. So I trust you guys and I want to share this with you. It's something from my heart to yours that I want to share with you and get your feedback on. I consider you guys my friends. Scarlett, why does Gene Wally have to be such an asshole to our lovely Reese? I don't know. And if you ever find him, you can ask. He's somewhere in Nashville. Let's do some super chats because I don't have any of the other chats starred. YouTube automatically stars the super chats. Denise Lacey, finally live chat. Hi, lovely Reese and Sterling. Very sweet. I wish he were still here. Thank you for your super chat. Cindy Hunt, Sterling, your channel didn't go live. Cindy Hewitt, thank you for your super chat. We couldn't figure out how to put it on his channel. We didn't have Aaron to ask. So we will do that definitely for the next time. Ren B, I love Ren B. Reese and her Ice Cube and Sterling with the wind. Oh, I love you, babe. Thank you for your super chat. Freezinu Project. FYI, Sterling, you were not streaming on your page. Yes, he knew that and we couldn't figure it out. That's why we were late to the start because we were trying to figure it out. Thank you for your super chat, Freezinu Project. Super Stormy Day. Sterling, this isn't streaming on your channel. Yeah, sorry. Thank you for your super chat. Barb, you're such a sweet girl, my little cheerleader. Let's get some super chats started. Thank you, Barb, for yours. I love you for that. Melissa Lynn, Sterling, do you think that you were considered untouchable after leaving because of the family? I wonder the answer to that too. I wish we could have asked him that, but we'll be able to do it again. Thank you for the super chat, Melissa. Stormy, super storm day. Thank you for your super sticker. Jeannie or Jean, so happy y'all are chatting. Laugh so much during the trivia game. So happy all the connections are happening. Me too. I'm really happy for this connection with him in particular. Thank you for your super chat. I love Blake Reed. What up, Reese? What up, Sterling? How are you beautiful people today? Blake, you're a true friend, man. I really love you. And thank you for your super chat. Melissa Lynn, why has Scientology always been so prudish? LRH was in a sex cult, then still Jack Parsons' wife and Bo. That would have been a good question to ask him too, but Scientology is very prudish. You're right on that. And thank you for your super chat. Blake, that's okay. We love a silent king. You're so cute, Blake. Paula Puffer, thank you for saying that, Sterling. I don't like belittling or speaking badly about my exes. How sweet was that, you guys? He's such a gent. He's such a gent. Paula, thank you for your super chat. Keela, Sterling, you and Reese escaped with your humanity. You both have a heart and are truly remarkable humans. I love you, Reese. Keela, I love you so much, and you know that. Thank you for your super chat, my friend. John Sostovsky, I got your package yesterday, you little angel. By the way, I haven't reached out to you. Sterling, any problem saying cooter? Oh, that would have been a good one for him. Something tells me, though, no. John, do you think so? I don't think he has a problem saying cooter. Why am I still wearing this headphone? I don't know. John, as always, thank you for your super chat. Ren B. Best kept secret is that SPs are the Scientologists who decided that abusing other people and hurting families is horrible. SPs are the kindest, best people. You two are the cutest. Pumpkin spice muffins, Ren. I love you, girl. You're so cute. And I want to see those boots that you're going to get. I hope that you get them. Speaking of, oh my God, speaking of shopping and boots, you guys, it's so funny. Somebody left a comment. Were you with me in the live last night? There's a lot of people in this chat. There were not last night. There was like 400. Oh my God. Somebody said on a comment, they were like, you clearly have expensive taste and you love to shop, and shame on you. Shame on you for having expensive taste and buying nice things. They were like, that's really sick that you're trying to make money on YouTube. And I was like, you are all over the place. What does that even mean? Shame on me for liking things and shopping, one, but two, that I'm trying to make this into a job at some point. It would be cool to make money on YouTube. I am so apologetic to you for that. I am so sorry. That was the craziest thing I'd ever read. I was like, wow, that's a new one. Christy Lynn Wilson. What is the hardest behavior or way of thinking to break after leaving Scientology? That's a good question, Christy. Thank you for your super chat. For me, it's everything. It's like keeping my TRs in. It's what did I do that was unethical to pull that in? What crime did I commit because I'm not controlling the entire situation? Just all those things are still kind of like plugged into me. And I have to remind myself not to be that way. Blake, I think it's safe to say that Sterling has become the best version of everyone he looks up to. That sun shining personality beams bright every time we get to see you. I love him. Blake, I love you too. Retired wine and true crime. Sterling, where you David M. stepbrother, brother-in-law. Because Sterling was married to David Miscavige's sister. Wait, nope. Yeah, still brother-in-law. He was married to Shelley's sister. I'm all over the place. Maybe we should let him finish that sentence when he comes back on. Thank you for your super chat, though. Paula Puffer, what does bank mean? Good question. Bank is a reactive mind in Scientology. So it's just where all the negative crap is, all the emotions. It's when you're being irrational, you're being banky, you're being a bank. That's where all that's stored, is in the bank. Andrew Humphrey, finally caught up on 2X. Love you guys. And it would be fun for all the SPs to get together and have a real SP family reunion. Can I come, please? You can, Andrew. And I would love that. I would like to figure out like an SP con, something like that. I would fly to it. Thank you for your super chat. Mama Joe, I love you. Thank you. I love Mama Joe. You were here last night. We're here with you both through both laughter and tears. Thank you, Mama Joe. Hey, Kevin, you're here. Holiday party. We all coordinate and meet somewhere in the middle. I would love that. I'm serious. That would be so cool. Thank you for your super chat, my friend. Scarlett, I love you too, Scarlett. You're so sweet. I love Scarlett, and thank you. And Belle, do you think David Miscavi watches any of these? I don't know. Probably not mine. I don't feel important enough for that, but maybe someday we'll climb up to that point where he does. I'm sure he knows who I am. Like, I'm sure that he has an idea, I'm sure that possibly, but I don't know for sure. I don't know. Melissa Lynn, shopping question. Do you have any good TJ Maxx's by you? I'm not too far. You're not too far. Yes. The best one, Melissa, I'm good at this question. The best one is in Blue Springs off of Adams Dairy Parkway. That's the one I love to go to. Why is somebody saying muted? I'm not muted. That one has, because I love the one over in Overland Park by Oak Park Mall on 95th. This one's better. This one's better because they have makeup there that I love that you can get at Sephora. Now, I said I don't buy it anymore, but I did get one yesterday. I got a MAC lipstick. It was $8. MAC lipsticks are like $30. So yes, and I found some really cute sweaters and clothes and like good quality brands. So yes, the TJ Maxx in Blue Springs, do it. That's cool that you're not far away. Oh my God, Ray, I know that one person who got mad at me. I can't remember why she was mad at me, but she was like, what are you doing? To your friends? Do you want to come say hi to everybody? Huxley looks so cute. Let's have him say hello. I know she was like, I feel like I've lost a friend. It was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Look how cute you look. Come say hi, bend down.
Hey y'all. It's
Huxley. Oh, I just realized. Here, say hi.
Hey guys.
Look at his necklace that my mom sent him yesterday. He's so cute. Did you go to church today?
No.
But you wanted to.
I want to.
Okay, well, next Sunday.
Yeah.
You look really cute.
Thank you.
Did you clean up your room? You did the litter box.
Yeah.
Thank you, son. Did you make a huge mess upstairs? Because I've never heard you turn on a vacuum in your life, so it must have been serious.
I mean, it was just, I can't pick up little pieces of.
What was it that you spilled?
It was a little bit of electrolyte.
Are you telling the truth?
Yeah, she can go back on the camera.
Okay. Because it looks like you're lying for some reason, the way you're chewing your gum.
It was just a little.
You're lying. I knew it. You're laughing.
It's electrolyte. It was electrolyte. Like, the powder.
Where did you spill it?
In the kitchen. Bo, chill.
Okay.
Chill.
All right.
But yeah, sorry.
Love you.
Love you.
Have fun. Text me.
Okay.
Don't shut that door. Don't shut that door. Keep it open. Actually, open both doors now that you and Jeff are gone because I'm on fire and I feel like there's not enough air in here. Thank you. Sorry, guys. Oh, Jeff. Okay. Jeff made it to his tall cedars meeting because he is a tall cedar, if you know what I'm getting at. We did get down today, by the way. Remember last night, people were like, have fun answering Ray, you said have fun with the bone phone. We actually didn't. Jeff slapped on his CPAP, and I was really depressed about that, but he made up for it today, and I couldn't be happier. Lena, on me, you remind me of my favorite person, my sister that passed away. Oh, I'm sorry you lost your sister. That's so horrible. Beautiful. Love beautiful clothes, hats, belts. It was all thrifted. She was beautiful inside and out. Stay the same, love. That is so sweet of you. Thank you for your super chat. I do love to thrift, so I can see why I remind you of her. Um, that's really sweet to say. My favorite thing is to go thrifting and find things. Kevin, I also forgot you and Aaron and Sterling have incredible chemistry. And on screen, I watched Game Night on Thursday. You guys had me rolling. My sides literally hurt the next day. That's so fun. Thanks for saying that, Kev. And thank you for your super chat. The power lies to paralyze. Yes. It's like a little dose of OSA. They're great at DDoS attacks like this. Oh, yeah. Yes, I know what that is. Protect your IP address and networks. I think that happened to me once. Thank you for your super chat. Isn't Huxley cute, you guys? He's so cute. His birthday is going to be in a couple of weeks, and I'm trying to still kind of come up with stuff to do. And he's just so cute. I just think he's so adorable. I love his voice, and he's getting tall, and he's so respectful. And he made a friend, and that makes me so happy that he has a friend. And it makes me even happier that that friend is within walking distance. He's in our neighborhood, and I just think that's so cool. I love that. By the way, Huxley is a little bit religious. I don't know why or where that came from. But he wants Jeff to take him to church, and Jeff is going to do that. And I just think that's really sweet. I think that's very nice. He told me the other day that he prays before he eats every time. And I just think that's a beautiful thing because he chose it. It wasn't pushed on him. And I really, really like that. I like that path for him. He understands why I don't go to church or am a part of that right now. I just can't be. But Jeff is a Methodist and has no problem going to church. And I think that's really special that he has that connection with God. And I love that for him. And I'm very supportive of it, whatever he chooses there. I want him to be able to go to church. Simon Superstar, Reese and Sterling are great together. Love you. Thank you, Simon. Thank you for your super chat. So supportive. Thank you. I think that's really special. I hope that nobody's texting me that like Sterling. Okay, no. I forgot my phone's on Do Not Disturb. I never drink coffee anymore, and I had that coffee, and I feel like Tampa B man, you're healing one baby step at a time. It's all on your timeline. We are here for you. We are all here for you. Thank you, Barb. I love you, and I know you are. I really know that. Do you think, Barb, that I should read the book? I kind of missed your responses on that, and you don't have to super chat me. Thank you for your super chat, though. You know I'm very grateful. Hey, Brittany. I knew what you meant, Barb. Here, not here. I think I want to do it. I think it'll be hard, but I want to do it. And I think I'm ready to do it. And I think it will also push me over the edge to start writing a book. I think it will help me to get the book going. And I mean, again, I don't know that it's worth it to write a book because in a way we do a daily journal on YouTube. So it's like, would you guys even be interested in a book? You know me and you watch my channel. But at the same time, I think for just reasons that we could get it out there for everyone, people who are maybe on the fence or under the radar, maybe a book would help. So I don't want to discount that. I think it could be a good thing. And I think it would be a really good thing to write the book and publish it with my dad's book for the world to see. I just think that would be the ultimate. I guess YouTube is having problems today, guys. It keeps freezing. It's not me. I think everybody's saying YouTube in general is. So I'll sign off here in a minute. But I think it would be, oh, thanks, Brian Lucas. I love that about you. I may turn to you for some help on that. I think that I just like the idea because my dad is such a horrible person. I like the idea of publishing it with his book and it's all from him. So it's just kind of like jokes on you, dude. In the end, you're going to burn for it. All the things that you say, you can't take back. And when you gave me that book that day, it broke my heart. I can't hardly talk about it because I'll never forget it. I'll never forget the way he looked at me and handed me that book and just said, I'll never need this again. And I never thought about it the way Sterling said. It was premeditated. He planned that. That's really sick to me. It's so dark and mean to do that to a 16-year-old kid, your 16-year-old child. It's so fucking mean. I can't think of anything more mean for a parent to do that. Lori, oh my God, a Reese book would be outstanding. No one communicates the way you do. No one has your story. Thank you, Lori. That's true. Well, thank you, Jenna. I am open to spiritual. I pray that you find God. He is love. I'm not against that. I appreciate you saying that. Barb, you can do it. And if it's too hard, we'll all understand. You're stronger than you think. Thank you, babe. I think I can do it. I think I can do it. And especially if you're here with me, Barb. We talked about that yesterday. Thank you for your super chat. Sorry, I'm just catching up. I think it's good that Huxley's reaching for something like that. I really think it's sweet. When my dad gave me that book, yeah, I was 16 when I left staff. That was the worst day. It was so horrible. I know I keep touching on it. I'm sorry, but that was so hard for me when he handed me that book. I can't stop thinking about it, honestly. I've been thinking about it for a while and I just haven't shared it with you guys. I didn't know when the right time would be, and it just naturally happened for me today with Sterling. And it's something I want to do one-on-one with you guys. I don't want to read it with anybody else unless Jeff reads it for me. That's fine. But I just want to have it private and personal with you guys, which I realize is kind of an oxymoron to say private and personal. YouTube is not that, but it is for me. This is my family, my group of people that are with me in this chat right now. You wouldn't be here if you didn't want to be here. Of course, there's going to be a couple of shitty comments written after the live, and they're going to go, you're a shitty person or whatever. Or, you shop too much and you have too much of an expensive taste. That's the weirdest thing I've ever read. And it was deleted right away because I was like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. And I'm not going to apologize for shopping at H&M yesterday, which is not an expensive place. Faye, thank you for your super sticker, babe. Yes, Rhonda. Huxley finding a spiritual path is wonderful. A young man blooming. Yes. I think that will shape who he is as a man. I'm trying to do my best that way. And I think him reaching for something higher, for a church, having a relationship with God, I think is a beautiful thing. And I never want to put a stop to that. I want to nurture that and support it. And I think it will help him as an adult as he grows into adulthood. I think faith is an amazing thing that I had known nothing about, but I've always admired it from afar. And I look forward to my son having that. It's something I never had that I want him to have. I know, Lori, me too. I love how Sterling was so gentle and loving with you about the book. God, me too. It was a beautiful thing. Snake, I hate that YouTube is doing that, but I don't think it's just my channel. I think it's everybody. And I hope that, what is H&M, Kevin? It's just a cheap clothing store. It's like a giant conglomerate. It's a big clothing store that, I mean, they actually have a lot of cute basics. They have men's clothes too. And I'm like shocked by the prices. I never go there, but when I do, I'm like, why don't I ever come here? It's crazy. I love that, Barb. When you're on fire like you are, you're bound to get burned from time to time. That's so true. And I'm also bound to fly too close to the sun from time to time, because I do trust too much, and it's going to happen. People are going to say shitty things. You really can't win in this game. I realize that being on YouTube now, you can't win. I could have a really good show. I could have a really good live, and then somebody's going to come over and shit on it. It just happens. Every once in a while that happens. but it doesn't matter because 99.9% of you are like, yay, Reese, we love you. I love being a part of your life and growing with you, and you inspire me and all the beautiful stories you guys share with me. So it makes it worth it. You want to be ugly and have an ugly heart. We can deal with those people. We just delete their comments and move on and hope that they have a better day. I don't know. Anyway, I can sign off now. The point of this was to do a live with Sterling, and he's gone now. But I wanted to talk with you guys and just get your feedback on the book. And while you guys are all in here, by the way, because we don't usually have this big of a team in here, can you guys all check? I keep losing numbers as subscribers. Can you just make sure you're subscribed? I had somebody reach out to me this morning and say, I have had to resubscribe to you in the last 24 hours 3 times. Like, that's weird. I have not had this problem before. And all of a sudden, YouTube is like kicking people off my channel. So if you don't mind, can you just check? Because a bunch of people are checking and they're going, whoa, I wasn't subscribed and I thought I was. Yeah. Faye, your dad did almost same as my mom did to me at 11. I never felt love because even my own mom didn't want me. Jesus, Faye, I'm so sorry. It's a horrible feeling and it's not fixable. It's a hole that will be there forever. Now, I've tried to fill it and it's helped, Jeff in my life, Fred in my life, my son in my life. All of those things help to fill it and keep things on an even keel. But when a parent does something like that to their kid, it's a scar that will never close up. It's a wound that will never close up. It's a wound that will never heal. And I'm sorry that happened to you, Faye. It's horrible. Well, Diana O, you look expensive. Never. I don't know why that's funny because I think I don't look expensive, but that's hilarious. Thank you. I've always wanted to look like a classy babe because I see classy babes all the time and I'm like, dang, I wish I looked like that. Yeah. Thank you for checking, guys, to see if you're subscribed. I appreciate you guys doing that. Yeah, see, Diane Tierney, I keep getting unsubscribed. It's like, what is this about? I don't know. Who is Fred? Liz R. Fred was my husband before Jeff. He passed away, and he was the most magnificent man. And he taught me a lot. And he was much older than me, like Jeff, my current husband. And he showed me the way out of Scientology. He was the start to that, and he's given me gifts that just keep on giving. And I believe that Fred had something to do with my being outed. Fred. All kinds of good things have happened to me since Fred died and since I even met Fred. Nothing but good has come my way, and I feel protected all the time by Fred. Close calls have happened to me, and it doesn't actually happen because I feel like Fred was there. Pat O, this is so annoying. I keep getting unsubscribed also. My YouTube channel just keeps growing and it's like lately it keeps falling backwards. And I'm like, I get that some people don't like me and they're going to go unsubscribe because we don't like that bitch, but it can't be that many. It can't be happening that many times. I wouldn't think, but maybe that was narcissistic of me to say, but I don't feel like that many people hate me. I feel like they trickle on through, but I'm getting a lot of the number going backwards. Yes, Yvonne. Fred was the one man who showed Reese unconditional love till the end. 100%. Maria, thank you for your super sticker. What an angel. Speaking of angels, Fred is an angel, Naomi. Thank you for saying that. Fred was the most beautiful soul. And yeah, he means everything to me. And he showed me so many things I didn't know. And I always say, I feel like Fred introduced me to myself. He showed me so much light and lifted me up. Yes, Jeff is my third husband. Yes. Fred was just a really, really big presence in my life and still is. I feel him all the time. I swear to God, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Jeff and I were driving to Springfield, Missouri last week, which is about a 3-hour drive from here. We're driving and I'm just talking to Jeff going down the road and he's in the passing lane in the left lane on the highway. And this car starts to come over into our lane. They were trying to get over and they didn't look. And it was the closest, like my heart jumped out of my chest. I was like, I just like absolutely freaked out. I watched the car get so close to our car and I was bracing for impact. And I was like, oh my God, here it comes. It's going to happen. Like I could feel it. And I swear to God, I just got so emotional. I started crying because it was like, I felt like Fred just was like separated the two. Like, I don't know how it happened still. Watched it happen. I watched this car like come right up on where I was. And I just remember my body like bracing and I just saw it happening in real time. And I swear to God, you guys, I got so emotional. Jeff doesn't even know this. I just cried silently. I got so emotional because it's almost like I felt Fred go, like push the car away. I feel those things all the time. I feel things all the time in life where I'm like, that should have ended badly, but it didn't. Or I'm like, I feel like I just was saved. It's Fred. I know it. I feel him all the time. And so I don't know why I brought that up, but he is still just such a presence. I know he's not gone. And he told me he wouldn't before he died. He said, I'm going to wait for you. And I believe him. He told me a lot of things before he died. And so, Kimberly, I'm glad you're resubscribed. Craig Brown, you were unsubscribed. Thank you for checking, guys. Thank you for checking. But anyway, the point is, as hard as this has been, losing everybody in my life with Scientology and just coming out like this. And how long ago, Liz, did he pass? 5 years? Okay. I can't remember what I can't remember what I was saying. He is my guardian angel, George, and I feel like he's still with me. He said a lot of things to me before he died, and he just was very profound with his words. And he just, he really helped me with the Scientology stuff. I feel like I have somebody with me at all times. I'm never alone. Fred is always with me. And I know that. I just know it. I know it in my heart. I don't know about God. I don't have a relationship with God, but I have a relationship with Fred. And if I do pray, I pray to Fred because that's what's real to me and I feel him. Oh, I love that, Miss Sunrise Dawn. Oh, Barb, I love that too. Reese, I know that feeling. My cousin that was a firefighter EMT was killed in a car accident in 2010. That's so sad. And I feel him watching over me quite a bit. Absolutely you do. Yeah. And you know, that's not real to everybody. Kevin, no, I don't have an ENF meter. I know what those are, but I don't have one. It's not real to everybody, but it's very real to me. And I worked in senior living. That was my career. And I sadly became close friends with all of them and had to say goodbye to a lot of them, go to funerals and watch them pass. And it was very real to me, the husbands and wives that would pass and the ones that were still alive, they would still be there with them. I could feel it. They could feel it. It was just very real to me that nobody's ever really gone. Barb, do you think Fred knew somehow he was going to pass? I know he did. Fred was going to die. He was on hospice. And I think I've told you guys this many times, but some of you are new. Fred was very old, guys. And we always had this funny thing. And it was a kind of sick humor. Okay. We made each other laugh a lot. But he would cough or something. And I would go, "Are you dying?" And he'd go, "Hell no." And Fred had been in the hospital a few times over the years of us being together. And at one point, a doctor did say he won't see another sunrise. And Fred was like, "The hell I won't, man. Yes, I will." And he did. So Fred, it was an ongoing thing. I'd be like, "You're not dying, are you?" And he'd be like, "Hell no." And when he was dying, the morning he was dying, I said, "Are you dying?" And he wouldn't answer me. And I said, "Fred, I need to know, like, are you dying?" And he said, and the day he died, Huxley, Fred was in the Navy. And the day he died, he was dying. And we didn't really know it until he told me he was dying. But I didn't know he was going to die that day. And Huxley came in and gave him a hug, and he did this. And he saluted him. And when I took Huxley to visit Fred's grave, Huxley did that to his grave, and he saluted him. And it was really special and so sweet. But Fred, his last words to me, so I believe, yes, he knew he was dying. He had a chance to say goodbye to me. And his very last words before he died, he said, he looked right at me and he said, "Nobody will ever love you as much as I do." And then I think he was going in and out of consciousness at this point. And the very last thing he said, right after he said that, he said, "Tell Reese she was the love of my life." And he never spoke again. And that was the last thing he said. So, Barb, yes, I believe that he knew he was dying. And I would never change a thing. I am so lucky. That was such a gift to me. I always wondered how Fred would pass. I knew he was older than me and I knew it was going to happen at some point. Um, and I thought, oh God, I'm going to come home one day and he's, or what if he falls? I'd seen a lot of seniors pass. And so I was like, how is this going to go down? I'm not prepared. And it was such a gift. It was such a gift to me for him to be able to do it that way. And yeah, he said that day too. He said, "I'll wait for you." And it was so special. And as much as I miss Fred so much, you guys, I miss him so much. And I miss his wisdom and all the gifts he gave me, his wisdom filled gifts. But I'll never forget that. And I'm not afraid because of that. If I were to die tomorrow, know that I wasn't afraid. Don't want that to happen because of my son. My son needs me. But I know in my heart that I will see Fred again somehow. I know that he is waiting for me. And I know that he's here with me. I feel protected by him all the time. How long were Fred and I married? We were only married for 6 months and 3 days. We were together for years, but we were not married very long. And I was crazy in love with that man. And he was so in love with me. And he was very old. He was very old, but I didn't see the age part. It didn't matter to me. I'll show you guys because not all of you are my Facebook friend, and I don't know why. Well, here's a picture. I don't have a picture to pull up right this second of he and I, but this Raymond, if you're still in here, I was going to send you this. Raymond asked me for a good picture. That's him and Gertie. He was old, but he had the sweetest smile and face. I loved his ears. See those giant ears? I loved Fred's ears so much. I loved his teeth. I loved his head. I loved everything about him. I took really good care of him, but he took such good care of me. And I really loved that man. And he loved Gertie so much. He loved Gertie. And it was such a sweet love story. And I'll never forget it. And I'll never forget how much he helped me to get out of Scientology. I feel like he had no idea he did that. I mean, he does now, but I don't think he was actively trying to do that, but he helped me to see the light and be free. And I will never be able to thank him enough for that. And I know that that's because of him. I know that that's because of Fred. And I know that it's still going on. And I turn to him for strength and support. And it's great. It's a wonderful thing. Holy shit. You scared me.
I try.
What are you doing?
You're still going.
I'm still going. I was just talking about life and crying. I'm
Oh,
sorry. I don't want to
that's
show
okay.
emotion.
No
It's
apologies.
so weird. It's so weird right now. There's 700 people in here, and I'm like, I don't want to show emotion with Sterling, but I will with 700 other people. Sterling, it's private. You can't see me crying, but all these other people can.
Okay.
Well, hey there, you little turnip. What are you
Well,
doing?
I did warn everyone that the wind is just howling outside, so Edison will shut off the power randomly. And so I ran
That's
out, got my
funny.
groceries, and I came back and the power's on. And then I log in to see your video, and you're still live. And so I was like, oh shit, let's plug
Well,
some
I
stuff
tend to
in.
flap my gums. I tend to keep going. I
Did
had
you
all
answer a
day.
bunch of questions?
I did. I answered questions, but you know what? Do you have some time if the power stays on?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
Do you guys have time? I mean, everybody's still here.
I
Just
felt like it was income, even though I had a great time, by the way. And one of my closest friends texted me saying that she's loving the interview. I still was like, I felt like we got cut off short, though. I know we'll do it again. I know we'll do it again for sure.
Okay, so that's what I was saying. Like Sterling, before we do answer some questions, this is so funny. Oh my God, this is hilarious. I was just about to sign off because I was like, dang, this is long. Um, would you Aaron told me that you have Wednesdays and Sundays. Like,
Yes.
okay, I have no idea what you do. And I don't know if you're booked out with like other people to do lives, but would you be willing to like every other Wednesday or Sunday to do like a live with Sterling?
With Sterling or with you?
I was going to call it that, like
Oh,
Sundays with
like,
Sterling or
yeah,
something
no,
like
I
that.
would.
You don't. I mean,
I would.
I shouldn't have asked you live because you probably feel like you have to say yes. You don't have to. Like,
And no. First of all, no. Secondly, I think we discussed this. I'm very kind of on the, you can see it on my face. Reese, I reached out to Aaron to contact you to get on to your channel to do the game because I really like your content and your personality. I didn't even have to think twice about it when you asked me. Absolutely, I
aw.
would. The way we can talk to each other and feel safe in the space and just talk about anything, that's a rare thing. And I think we have that. So I would absolutely like to, because I've been wanting to get in to the emotional stuff and how we're affected and the PTSD section of our experiences. And I think you'd be the perfect person to do that with. But also we can also just have some fun chats and do some Q&As and all that stuff.
I love that. You guys, did you all hear it? I love that because Sterling, I feel the same way. I feel like you and I have a really good connection. Well, not today with the wind, but I feel like we have a really good chemistry and connection. And I can't get into the emotional stuff with Aaron just because he doesn't like to go there. And that's okay. I love doing stuff with Aaron because he's funny. Aaron is so fun to do stuff with.
Yeah.
But I
would.
do think it deserves to be talked about. I feel like this stuff needs to be talked about for the people to see too and hear.
Yes.
But it's so therapeutic for both of us, I think, to share our backgrounds, and it's just a soft landing. It's just nice to go, he understands and I understand where he's coming from. And
Right.
yay, you
It's
guys, he
therapeutic.
said yes. We were talking about it behind your back while you were at the store.
Yeah, no, there is no question. I would absolutely love to. I'm trying to find that the rhythm and the people that I enjoy speaking to on a regular basis. And you are on my list.
Oh,
You,
good.
Mike Brown, Aaron are on my list. I would love to do more with Claire too. Claire and Mark. I mean, I love both of them.
Yes. That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's do it for sure.
Can you answer some of the questions?
Absolutely.
Okay. I got to go back here. Because I was like, oh, that would have been a good one. Oh, this was a good one. Melissa said, do you think that you were considered untouchable after leaving because of the family?
Good question. I didn't think about that actually when I left. It didn't occur to me. I didn't really see myself in the Miscavige camp that much. And to be clear, my from 1997 until 2004, 2005, when I left, David Miscavige hated me. And he was not shy about that fact in our interactions and in his dispatches about me. So I didn't really consider it. I do think, and this is my opinion, and I've heard arguments to the contrary, but I do think because of my connection to Ronnie and Biddy being my mom, that maybe they were a little more kid gloves. But then at the same time, they went after Jenna pretty harshly. So I'm just not sure. I don't think they really want to poke the bear too much, wake the sleeping giant necessarily. And I don't mean to make it sound like I'm more important than I am. I really don't think I am. I think your Mike Rinders have much more to offer to this sort of thing. But I was a family member. So my opinion and my stories do lend some weight to this particular thing. So that's my thought process on it.
And you, I was going to ask you too, like you knew David Miscavige quite well then, I would assume.
Yes. Not as well as Jenna or Justin on the personal level. I knew him better on the Sea Org level than Jenna and Justin did for sure. I got to see his atrocities and how he treated people and what a prick he could be. But even more so my mom, and she's spoken about it. Yeah. She really knew him pretty well. Arguably one of the best people that knew him, speaking out right now. But yeah, that's where I land on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you do you do stuff with Jenna?
I don't. Not yet. Maybe in the future.
Okay.
Maybe in the future, yeah.
Okay. I really don't know anything about her. She seems like a really cool girl. I think she's very pretty.
Yes, she is. And you guys would probably be fantastic together, I'd have to say.
Oh, really? Yeah. She seems like a cool person. I would like to meet her someday. She seems like a really cool person.
Yeah.
Let's see. Unless it was something I didn't want to cut you off.
No, you were good. That was great. That was a good question.
Well, I thought this was interesting. Why has Scientology always been so prudish? LRH was in a sex cult, then stole Jack Parsons' wife and boat.
I wondered that when I found out about L. Ron Hubbard's dirty little secrets in the 50s and how many girls he'd been with and stealing a girl from Jack Parson and been married all those times. I was like, part of my thought process is like, what? We got ripped. There was plenty of girls that I would love to have slept with at the base. We all as younger guys had lists. We had our lists of girls that were super hot and that we were attracted to. And there was definitely a lot of flirting too.
And had non-silent sex with. That would have been cool too.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I wondered about that because you imagine we were all these kids growing up in our teens, and while we were at the ranch, the pickings were very slim. Very, very slim. So I was always interested. My last year at the ranch, some of the older kids, they were my age, but some of the kids that had already gone to the Int and Gold base, but not via the ranch, they had actually come up from the LA area. There were some attractive girls, some girls that I really liked. And, so I was never interested in the girls that I was with at the ranch. I was always interested in the girls that were coming from Golden Era Productions and the Int base. But I don't know why it was like that. It was so strange that it was. Now, you could argue that letting it be a open sexual adventure would create a lot of havoc too, right? As we know, stealing girls from other people, having affairs and stuff like that will create a pretty tumultuous environment. But I'll never know, right? We'll never know. Some of my family members did have little affairs on the side and got in trouble for that.
So weird.
I'll ask my brother Justin if I could talk about his fun stories, because some people did just go, hey, you know what, I don't care. But that was later on. So no, it's one of the strange things about and very I want to say hypocrite-like for L. Ron Hubbard to put in such strong, strenuous prohibitions on sex when he was himself apparently a
real creeper.
Exactly. Creeper would be the perfect word for it. Thank you for throwing that in there. So I don't know why. I don't, and I don't even we could ask Janice that, since she's the historian person on the tube, but even I don't think she would know exactly why, because it was sort of a freebie, sort of do what you want when they were on the ship back in the 60s and early 70s. So I don't know.
Yes. I do wonder about sexually L. Ron Hubbard. Was he a creeper with the younger girls on the ship? No one ever talks about that. And I wonder, was he flirty? Was he inappropriate? Was he a dirty old man?
Well,
I would like to know that.
She did. Janice did speak about that. And you should watch, if anyone wants to know, her channel is My Scientology Stories, Peeling the Onion.
Mhm.
She's asked that question. Apparently, in her experience, and she spent a lot of time with L. Ron Howard, he was never inappropriate to the younger girls.
He was not.
He was not. What he was, though, was inappropriate towards Janice's mother, and that pissed off Mary Sue. And he was obviously, based on records and his biography, was inappropriate with other people's girls of an older age. Now, that doesn't mean he didn't have some sort of fetish, possibly, and that's why he had a lot of young-looking women working for him as messengers. But apparently, he was not inappropriate. And I'm going to say that based on Janice's description, and Janice, I trust wholeheartedly.
Oh, for sure. I love Janice.
Oh, she's
yeah,
awesome.
I think she's super cool.
She's an amazing girl. I love her.
That's good that you answered that for me. I always wondered.
Yeah. And it makes sense to me because you would have heard about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It's true. You would have known at this point. This person, Christy, says, what has been the hardest behavior or way of thinking to break after leaving? I answered that while you were gone at the store.
What was your answer?
Well, I said it's a couple of things. Like for me, like still, I was saying this the other day, like I spilled something all over the kitchen and I was like, what did I do to pull that in? Like I kind of get that, like, what crime did I commit? Or I still get that weird. And then I sometimes still feel like, I look like a boy. I'm going to put my hair back down then. I feel like it looks like I had a boy hair. I don't know. I just looked at myself. I was like, wow, it looks like a little boy. And then the other thing is getting your TRs in. I still hear my dad said that to me all the time. Get your TRs in. And so I constantly feel that way. Like I have to act a certain way. And it's better. But I mean, that's kind of what came to mind. What is your answer to that?
My answer is really, and that's interesting that that's yours. And I think that goes back to how your dad treated you when you were young. I'm not a psychologist. But I think that would go back to how your dad treated you when you were younger. Because if I made a mistake, I was always of the frame of mind, mistakes happen.
No, not me.
That being said, I have a hypersensitivity to if someone does something to me or something happens, I immediately assume it's on a personal level, meaning that they're trying to do something to me. They're trying to attack me, and I get very defensive, and I also get kind of hurt by that, and overly so, because you can't assume that everyone that does something that's against you or says something that's all about personal. It could be that they're stupid. It could be that it was a mistake and something was done. So I still to this day try to learn to take a step back and make sure that my reaction to that isn't all emotional. And at the same time, look at from their point of view where they may be coming with that. And that it may not be personal. It may just be the circumstance that it was. And it was unavoidable to go that way. That's
totally. Hard. It is hard.
And I'm super defensive about my position. Like I work very hard to do my job the best I possibly can. And I do beat myself up about all mistakes that I make. Not in that, am I a bad person or my TRs are out, that why didn't I catch that? I could have caught that. I could have been better. Yes. And I stress myself out about it. And
do you feel like that also ties in with because in Scientology, I feel like we had to be very accountable and responsible for your environment, for everything in your environment, not just you. Like if something went wrong, I feel like it was like, well, what did you do you didn't take responsibility there? Yes. That's why that didn't go right. Yeah. And I feel like that's why I'm in therapy and I'm learning like what a control freak I really am, because I feel like I constantly have to be reacting and like answering to things and going, why didn't I control that better? Why didn't I have my TRs in to make that go right? I still feel that way. And I'm learning finally, like, okay, first of all, that was totally a lie. And you can't control everything. And it's funny to me that like Scientologists believe that. We believe that. Like you need to make everything go right.
Absolutely.
And so I feel like that's a huge responsibility on your head. If you really think about that, going through life, feeling like you have to be accountable for everything good and bad in your environment.
And you'll tend to stress yourself out doing that too, which is interesting when really
understatement of the universe. Yeah. I stress myself out badly about it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's also pluses, at least for some employers of people. I mean, 7 years, Reese, I have missed 2 days of work because of being sick. Once
Yep.
7 days only because of an enforced quarantine during COVID. And that's it. I
Yes.
don't miss work.
That's right.
I'm
That's
on
another
time.
thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
like,
Scientologists are very, we're on time because you have to be, or you go to ethics.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing. That's a good
Yeah.
thing. But yes, you pretty much have to be dying to
Yeah.
miss. That's how I was.
I have
Same.
gotten a major surgery and been at work the next day.
Yep.
I'm not even joking. It's a funny thing, but it is the way, like even look at, I get paid sick days. So, and I know people do this a lot. They'll take a sick day and they'll get paid, and they're really not sick. They just need a relaxed day. I cannot fathom even doing that. To me,
Yes.
I feel like I would be pulling the money out of someone's pocket if I did that. If I'm not
Mhm.
sick, I'm showing up to work. I
Yes.
also happen to love my work, which helps. But
yeah.
yeah.
But it's still ingrained in you. Like
Yeah.
that is such a thing. I totally agree with that. And to the point where like I judge others. Like when I had my job, I was like, she has a cold. Like what? That person better be dying. Like that's just how I feel, because that is kind of how a Scientologist acts, whether you're
It
in the Sea Org or not. You can't call in sick in a class 5 org either. You can't not come to work. They will come get you.
Oh,
So yeah,
yeah.
that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
an interesting
The
thought.
experience the next day is far worse than skipping that one day. It's like you don't want to go in and get grilled, so go in anyways.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
sure.
Totally. Let me see, because we do have.
There's
Oh
a
my
giant bear right behind you. Tell
I
me.
know, he's so tall. It's so annoying. I can't stand it. Actually, he reaches every countertop and his manners are not the best.
Right.
Hold on.
Hey, I don't mind dead air, so don't worry about it.
I don't either. It's so
Yeah.
funny. Aaron has that like major. My big fear when I'm unalive is that
Yeah.
I get super behind in the chats and I'm like way behind and I try to catch up and I want to answer everybody and I get like anxiety about it. Aaron freaks out about dead air. I don't have that problem.
That's a nice thing to worry about, because that means you have enough people watching the video that you can have that. I usually don't have enough people watching the video that becomes an issue. Though I found out when I started just answering questions yesterday, people just started coming back in with more questions. I love answering questions.
Oh, I do too. I love engaging with the chat. Totally.
Absolutely.
Me too. And that's my thing. I get anxiety because I don't want to miss anybody. I don't want to skip anybody. And then I get behind. I'm like, oh no, I have to skip some.
Sometimes I see a question after when I'm rewatching the video. I'm like, oh, I would have loved to answer that question.
Me
That
too. Me too. It bums me out.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. I think I missed this one. Faye, your dad did almost the same. Oh no, I got that one. I'm not good at the starred ones because Aaron does this for me. So I do it fine with myself, but hold on. I missed you, Bo Beats. Oh, Reese, I am just bawling right now. Damn this cancerian curse of ours, because we're both cancers. I hope I find that kind of love one day. I give that love to my pets. Thank you, Bo Beats, for your super chat. You missed the whole thing, Sterling. We were talking about my husband who passed away. Pouting Pooch. Yes, love that y'all will be doing this. Yes, I know. Me too. He said yes. Keela, first Sterling, welcome to the family. You have to say Cooter. You missed my other super chats. I did, Keela. I'm sorry. I'm not good at this. That was for you, by the way, brother.
Thank you. Thank you.
You have to say it though.
I have to say what? You missed my other super chat.
Nope.
Welcome to the family. You have to say Scooter first.
No.
What? I said it.
No, read it again.
No, she just forgot to put I'm sorry that you didn't know how to spell Scooter. It has an S at the beginning. It's Scooter.
Okay. Well, let's get Andrew's then. Go ahead and read that one.
Okay, so I guess some of your followers do not know how to spell. You're looking for the word scooter, I think. I'm going to go with scooter.
Okay, guys, we got another Aaron on our hands. We didn't even know. And I'll
say cooter.
He said it. Okay, now he's
Wait, I want to see, was that a U2 one? Wait, did you go back?
Yeah.
Jumped over to support you as well. You two are rock stars. Well,
yes.
Okay, yeah. Hey.
And we love you. I love Cat ACDC fan. This is great, right? When we think it's winding down, it start right back up again. That's right. You went to the store.
You're gonna hit 3 hours, Reese.
I've never done a live this long. I don't think I've come close to this. But
I gotta have more power outages.
Can you ask Sterling to adjust his mic? Why? I hear him just fine.
Yeah, no, I'm not adjusting my. Oh no. That's That's a no. Guys, I'm wearing a long sleeve shirt today. So if I adjust my mic, you don't get to see my arm. You don't know about the adjusting mic thing?
No.
Okay, so I was doing a live with Aaron and Mike Brown, and you know how Aaron gets on about everyone about audio. He thought my mic was too far away, so I reached over like this to adjust my mic. Well, when I'm wearing a t-shirt, my camera, how it's set, makes my arm look big, and so a lot of the people were going, "Oh, we love it when Sterling adjusts his mic."
Oh
So,
my God.
yeah.
They wanted tickets to the gun show.
They wanted tickets to the gun show. I play
You
tennis, so
know,
one arm's drastically bigger than the other.
people really have the hots for you. I don't know if you know this, but like somebody sent me a private message and they were like, I'm asking for a friend and I am the friend. Can you get Sterling to take some pictures of him and his volleyball, like playing volleyball? I was like, no, I'm not gonna. Actually, I'm
Oh.
not gonna do that.
Well, no, but in my leaving Scientology, loving life, which is my YouTube channel, it's a link to my Instagram, and my Instagram is where I post the photos of my life, my activities,
There you
the
go,
drinks I
girls.
make, the sports I play. So yeah, if you want to see volleyball pictures there,
Look at that. Look at that. That's really sweet of you to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know this, but a lot of these ladies have the hots for you. I think you're absolutely adorable, but you're about 40 years too young.
I
So
know. Damn it.
yeah,
And let's be honest, could
about
I compete with
150 pounds underweight.
Could I compete with Sir Anthony Hopkins? I don't think so.
Oh man. And he's not heavy like Jeff. He's not a big chub.
No.
So
No.
that's true. I'm not only attracted to heavy guys, I guess, but they do have to be old. So you're kind of like my brother though, like Aaron. I feel like it's brotherly love. But yeah, you're way decades too young. But he is cute, girls. He's very cute. Everybody has a crush on you. I don't know if you knew this.
I did not know that. I did not know that. But thank you so much.
Yeah. Well, you can't see the chat. That's why.
That's right. I cannot see the chat. In this particular
Oh.
instance, I cannot see the chat. I'm going to take your word for it.
I'm sorry. That's why. I'm like, why is he not agreeing with me?
Why is it?
Yeah.
Why is it? Yeah, that's why.
People
Thank
with
you,
hot
though.
for you.
Thank you.
So from now on, guys, going forward, we will do a live together whenever his schedule sees fit and whenever he's comfortable doing it. But someone said, how old is he? 47?
47.
47. He's 47. Tell him he's a little hottie patati.
Thank you, Susie Q.
Tiff has the hots for you. Everybody does. Yeah. Faye vibes. Yeah. Yeah. Lots of flirty vibes.
Lots of flirty vibes. Hey guys, by the way,
Ew.
Sorry.
Never
No.
did. Never had the
No.
hot for him. Just because a man is old doesn't mean I want to climb it like a tree. No, he has to be. There's certain attributes, and LRH never
Did
did
not
it for
have
me.
them. Did not have them.
Gross. I was always grossed out by his mouth.
Yes. Well, I never noticed that until after I left when people started pointing it out. But yeah, it's pretty grotesque.
Yeah.
It's pretty grotesque. Yeah.
Yeah. So yes, no, guys. Anyway, so we're gonna see when Sterling is. John Sosofsky, even John.
Oh yeah, well I no longer use his last name. I've been banned from that. So I just call him John, and he made sure in the chat yesterday that I knew how to pronounce the word John.
I always said it a different way, and then Aaron corrected me. I think it's Sostovsky.
No, I won't even acknowledge his last name.
Oh,
anymore.
I always said Sostowski. That's how I said it. And Aaron was like, it's Sostovsky. I was like, no, it isn't. But
I just call him John.
Okay, well, he thinks you're dreamy, and I think that's really sweet.
He's funny, by the way. I like his wit.
He's hilarious. I love him.
Well, look at that, by the way. Since I made that statement, I've had like 4 people add me on Instagram. Okay.
Do you have a Facebook?
No.
Okay. What is this question from Missy? How long were both of you in Scientology before leaving?
30 years.
Okay. I was 38 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, right. Because you
I
left much later than me. Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
But guys, so I just wanted to say, because a bunch of people came back into the chat, I don't see any questions or I would highlight them.
No
I hope I
worries.
didn't miss any super chats. If I did, I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not good at this. Aaron's better at doing it with 2 people. I can't control it as easily. So we're going to do something whenever Sterling is available. He's not available all the time. So when he has time for us, I would like to do stuff with him because he is so wonderful to talk to. And then next time, that's what I was going to say. The next time we're together, we will have it down on streaming both channels. But Sterling, let's talk about your channel so that all these people watching can at least come over and like, subscribe, whatever it's called, subscribe.
Sure. I wonder if I can put something up on that. Range. Okay. Oh, Neem Polite. She's on mine. Hey, how you doing?
Nice.
So the answer to this baseball question is I hope the Rangers. I really, really, really do. I like a lot of players on their team. Corey Seager's awesome. But you have to give a little respect to the Diamondbacks for playing as well as they are. They just happen to also be rivals of the Dodgers, and they beat my Phillies and Dodgers. So I'm going to have to go with Rangers. Rangers, please. Rangers,
Okay.
please.
I know nothing about sports, but what is Abita wants to know what you do, if you're comfortable sharing that.
I do YouTube videos. I play softball. I play volleyball, and I don't talk about my job.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
But hey,
I don't even
thank
know
you
it,
for
guys.
asking. But I just don't. I don't.
Well, that's okay. I can actually understand and respect that. I mean, I kind of can. I was talking about Jeff's balls last night. So
Yeah.
it is totally,
Well,
if
that's your
everything's
job.
on the table.
That's
Yeah.
your job.
And I think that he really doesn't appreciate that.
Yeah. How do you feel about the Blue Jays? I love the Blue Jays. I do have a list of organizations that I respect in baseball. Of course, the Houston Astros are not one of them, but the Blue Jays, I do respect, and I think they're a great organization, and I've always loved watching them. So that answers that question.
What is your favorite sport? I'm
My
asking.
favorite sport is baseball.
It is.
Hands down. Yeah. And I play, it's hard to play baseball. Baseball is it's a difficult sport. And if you play a game, it takes all day. So I do play softball. Obviously, as you get up in age, that's something that's more fun to play. But I also play a lot of tennis. I play a lot of beach volleyball. I stay active. I love sports. Sports are my drug, just so you know.
Wow. Okay. So eventually someday, if you do have a girlfriend, hopefully she would be into sports too.
You know what? Not necessarily. It's funny you say that. No, that is not a requirement for that.
Well, Jeff is super, super political, and he ran for mayor, and he was on the city council and all this shit. I know nothing about that. And it's like his life. He watches the news all the time, and he's on Twitter, and we totally different lives there, like totally. So I could see that with the sports thing, like as important to you as it is, it's not a requirement.
No, it's not at all. It's just that it's good chemistry. Like to travel, like to go out and eat and stuff like that. And that's pretty much it. To answer the last question about Dallas Cowboys, no, I'm not a Cowboys fan. I don't hate them. Not a Cowboys fan. If I had a football team, it would probably be the Birds, the Eagles. But I don't really have a football team at this point. Or American football team, to be clear. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like this. I just liked this comment. Verbo Boss, Reese, you've done an amazing job adjusting to the outside world in rapid time. Thank you. Sterling, you've also worked hard and are doing well. I love that.
Thank you so much. That's very nice to
Yeah,
say.
that's nice. And then someone said, what's your favorite baseball stadium? Melissa said that.
Oh, I'd have to say Petco Park in San Diego. It's a beautiful stadium. In the left field, they built in that old warehouse into the corner. The views are spectacular. You can't get better restaurants around there. You can take a train into the city to get there. Yeah, I'd say that was the absolute best location. Though Wrigley Field and Fenway Park, for historic purposes, are unbelievable. But the most comfortable stadium and the best stadium to watch a baseball game at would have to be Petco Park for me. That's the home of the San Diego Padres.
Oh, that's cool. I did not know that. Okay. Yeah. Okay. And then Faye says, what state do you live in?
I live in California.
Yep, he does. And Joanne, thank you for your super sticker, babe.
Yes.
Mama Joe. I love Mama Joe. Also super stickered us. Guys, next time we want to stream on his channel, because I feel really bad about this, that he's not getting any of these. Kevin Thomas Crane is my new friend. Sterling made it back. Maybe you can help with this question too. Shouldn't little Davy have a warrant with all the subpoenas he has for court? Shouldn't he have a warrant?
I think someone spoke about this yesterday. I believe because they are civil cases at this particular point, there's no warrant to be issued to him. However, the grand jury investigation into tampering by Scientology in the Danny Masterson case, which was not a civil case, it was brought by the DA's office. When that comes to completion, and if Dave is found to be guilty, which he was, or Scientology, then there would probably be a warrant for his arrest. But I think on civil cases, you do not have a warrant. Don't quote me on that. I don't know that for a fact.
Okay. Interesting. I think people want to know answers to sports stuff.
Yes.
Favorite soccer, football team?
Okay. Thank you for saying soccer, football. I appreciate that, but I think it's absurd in the United States that we call it soccer. And I actually had to research one time why they call it soccer. It's fascinating. And I'm not going to answer it right now. It's too long. But my favorite football team, because I spent so much time working in London when I was working overseas for 5 years, it's Chelsea. And I went to a number of their games, and I was so fortunate to see a Champions League game against Barcelona. So I got to see Lionel Messi play live, which is a highlight for sure.
I don't know what that means.
Canadian Football League. No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Okay.
I mean, I met Doug Flutie played there back in the 80s, but that's all. I've never watched a CFL game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Joanne, I'm so glad you're here. Second live, first super chat, but I watch everyone on replay. Reese have started asking my 4-pound chihuahua if she knows she's tiny. That's kind of an inside thing on my channel, but that is so cute, Joanne. I love that.
I really like your subscribers it seems they really enjoy this. They enjoy asking you questions and talking, and the interaction's precious. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. I love it. It's like, if I miss a day, I'm like, I got to do a lot. Like, I really feel like I need to talk to my people because they just engage. We just interact, and it's therapeutic. I get a lot of private messages of people who are like, I'm bedridden, or my husband just passed away, or like just stories that they share that they feel comfortable sharing with me.
Yeah.
And it means so much to me that they're sharing their private lives with me. And they say, like, your lives make a difference in my daily life. Like, it helps me. I feel supported. That's like the biggest thing you could say to me. It's the best thing, because
it's so true.
I know what it feels like. And it's so nice to find a community that's like just full of support. It's amazing.
And I think it's an integral part of SPTV to have a lighter side and a little more upbeat side to what's inherently going to be a bad news network. And
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with that, of course. And I've actually, I could be wrong, but based on my observation, I've noticed it swinging a little bit towards that as well. Remaining to keep the news, remaining to talk about Scientology, talk about the abuses, talk about the lawsuits, but also there's been a little fun aspect that's coming on. I think Kelly Copter's doing a little game, which I don't know what it is, but it looks fascinating. So I like that, because people, I think, appreciate seeing survivors and people that have left actually
surviving
and seeing their personality and how they come out of it. And I think that's why you are, one, so valuable to this whole thing, but also you just have your personality shines through, and you're a very likable person. Actually, by the way, I was talking to my mom on the way to getting groceries, and she told me that she thinks you're a wonderful person. You have a great content in the channel.
Aww.
So yeah, it was really nice.
Oh my gosh, that was really sweet of her.
Yeah.
Please tell her thank you.
I will.
Love
I will.
that. That is so nice. I love connecting with people, and I think you do too. And that's why I think you and I have good chemistry on here, because I think it's just therapeutic. It's just I was on last night live, and we were laughing away at something, and somebody jumped in and they were like, what did I just come into? I thought this was supposed to be about Scientology. And it was a good point, because I was like, you're right. And I hope that you stick around. I hope you don't unsubscribe or, not be here because of it. But I can't just talk about that 24/7. It's depressing. And if I do talk about it, I try to lighten it up or make a joke somehow, because it's not something I want to just have a channel about, and child this and horrible that and beatings. And I can't talk about that stuff all the time. It's awful.
No. And besides the abuse, we were in an absurd cult. There are absurd things that you have to laugh about now. You just have to laugh about how ridiculous they were, because you're looking at it with 2020 hindsight. And you're like, that's what I thought. That's what I did.
I know.
You can't not laugh at it. That's why, and it's therapeutic to laugh at some of those things. For sure.
Yes. And we should talk about that sometime in the future, just like that topic of the things that we actually believed. Like Aaron will tell you, like he never bought that shit. Like there's a lot
Yeah.
of stuff that he's like, oh, I
Yeah.
did. Like there
Yeah.
was a lot of stuff that I did. And I don't know. I think that would be interesting to kind of go, what was your take on that? Like, did you feel that way?
I love those
Somebody,
conversations because it's a
somebody
great
also,
contrast. Yeah.
yes. And somebody also mentioned and has mentioned, more than one person has, um, doing like a Scientology quiz, almost like trivia, and like, or like bringing up a topic and going, what was your take on that? Like that policy or that reference or how everybody followed that. Cause Aaron will tell you like, oh, I didn't buy that. I'm like, what? How did you not buy that?
Yeah. Right.
Like the tone scale. He thinks the tone scale was total bullshit. I operated on the tone scale. I totally believed it. If somebody had bad breath, I was like, that means they're low tone.
Oh, that's
That's what that
funny. Well,
means.
I told him about how I thought that the ethics conditions were complete trash. I was like, there's just no way. I'm sorry. Like, no, like how
This
does
is
that
garbage.
apply? Like I could not stand him. I just had a pre-formatted thing on my computer. By the way, my phone is blowing up right now. So I'm getting notice after notice on people logging, befriending me on Instagram. So, hey, if you're doing that, please subscribe to my channel as
Yeah,
well.
guys, subscribe. I will check your subscription right now. Can you check it? Don't you
No,
have
I
the
don't
YouTube
want to.
app?
I'm too entertained with you right now. But
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
Well,
no,
hold
like,
on. I want to touch on that,
Yeah.
Sterling, because I want to make sure that people know, since I can't do like Aaron does and pull it up.
Yeah.
Tell people your channel and tell them to come over, because we have a lot of people in the chat right now. It's a good opportunity to get people. You guys need to be subscribed to this man. He's amazing. Subscribe.
Thank you so much.
Tell him.
Yeah, if you haven't already, my YouTube channel is Leaving Scientology, Loving Life. And so I started with the idea of talking about current affairs, interviewing people, but also getting into trauma, but also things to do to live your life after and get on with it. Because you can't not acknowledge that it happened, but you should be able to also move along and do what you can, because good messages out there increase awareness and help people understand it better, to prevent people from going in and also understand the people that were there. And fascinating, right? I'll subscribe. Working Justice Michael.
I'm telling you, the girls have gone wild.
It happened so funny. It was so, anyways, it just was something that happened. One interview with Mike and Aaron, and
Clearly
it's
it
never
stuck.
gone. Yeah.
Clearly it stuck.
Yes, it did.
It makes me think of, did you ever see those Zach Galifianakis, like he was being funny, those little shows he did called
the
Between
Fern,
Two
the interviews
Ferns?
between two ferns.
Yes, it
Yeah.
makes me think of when he saw Matthew McConaughey and he was like, I noticed you're wearing a shirt.
Yeah.
Is everything okay?
Those interviews are so good.
They're hilarious, but it totally makes me think of Sterling with the girls in here. I want to be like, no, Sterling, I noticed you're wearing a shirt. Are you all right?
Sure. I should do a Matthew McConaughey series.
Yes.
Sorry to disappoint everyone. I look nothing like Matthew McConaughey when I'm with my shirts off. Nothing like that.
Oh my God, that's so funny. This is a good question from Wonder Woman, real quick. Were you told that you were from anywhere, by the way?
Were you told you were once an ice cube or something comparable? No, I was not. And I love that you have that story. I
don't love it, but yeah, it's pretty weird.
Okay. I like that you told it the way you did.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's funny because there's a lot of different experiences with this. And I think everyone has a particular scenario in their life where someone mentioned something. There was no origin story for me ever until I left and I saw South Park. And I don't know why that was. And here I'm talking with Reese right now, whose dad was just, and I hate that, was just a public Scientologist. My parents were senior executives in the Sea Org, but she got more Scientology shoved in her face than I did growing up. And I think that's interesting in itself. Like, how does that happen? So I didn't have any origin concept before that. Now, I was audited quite a bit when I was younger. And I really didn't have much of a problem with the auditing. There was no Joburg sec check. I never got that when I was younger. I got processes that were about touching a wall and walking back and forth. And there was one point during that process where I lost my shit, and it took 2 people 4 hours to get me back into that room because I was having no more of being told which wall to touch. And that was probably my personality. I think those were objectives. But the only time I ever, when I was younger, approached something of an origin story was when I was getting auditing, and they tried to acknowledge something with a past life. But still at that age, when I was talking about a past life experience, I was still pretty aware that timeline wise, that wasn't really possible. And I remember going to my mom, Barbara at the time, who was a Scientology practitioner, and she was specifically a case supervisor. So she would be the one determining what each individual would do next, and saying to her, "It doesn't make sense to me, Mom. I'm saying that I was this past life, but time wise, that couldn't have made sense." And her having to try to explain it to me. So part of my mind was a little bit, this is mumbo jumbo. And again, after that auditing as a young person, I think up until the age of maybe 10, after that, I really didn't care for auditing. I just didn't see any benefit to it. I saw too many people that I knew were very high on the so-called Scientology bridge that were arguably complete idiots. And so I was like, well,
or total assholes. There's
yeah,
that
right.
too.
So I'm like, I'm good.
Yes.
I'm good. Yeah. And
Interesting.
even when I left, even when I still was a little bit like, okay, maybe I could be a Scientologist, I was never going to go in session again. I just did not want that feeling.
You make a really good point there. I don't know if you listened to some of those audios that I played.
Oh, I absolutely did.
Okay. So I don't know if you knew Kathy O'Connor.
I did
Dan's. Okay. Hers was particularly awful, like cringy to listen to. She's so condescending. She was very gaslighty. She didn't make a lot of common sense to me.
Mhm.
She's on OT7. Like, that's a good example of like, there's an OT7 for you. The housewives thing that Aaron and I do.
Yeah.
A lot of those women are OT7 who are going, my kid won't eat. I can't get my kid to go to bed. It's like, this is an example of all powerful, all knowing. Like, it's a good point that you make. It's like, that's what I'm spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to get to,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they don't see it though. The blinders are on. They absolutely do not see how
It's tunnel
absurd they
vision,
sound.
man.
Yeah.
It's tunnel vision.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
No,
They
I
think
get
they
such a
sound
kick out of those, Reese. I get such a kick out of those. I get my popcorn and I sit down, I put my feet up on my coffee table, and I'm like, here we go. Here's the shit show. Let's do this.
You should do one with us. You would be really fun to do one with us.
I don't know.
I mean,
if
if you're ever up for
I
it.
don't know if I can hold back.
Nobody holds back. Aaron doesn't hold back.
Yeah,
We all laugh.
Those ones to me.
You would understand though a lot of where we're coming from. So it would be a good thing for
It would
if
be
you
fun. I
ever
don't want to
wanted
encroach too much. I don't want to encroach too much. I love yours and Aaron's content. So part of it, I want to be a spectator with.
Oh, well,
Part
I
of it.
understand that.
Yeah.
Sometimes I want to be a spectator when I'm with Aaron. I'm like, what am I doing? He sometimes has a wild hair and I'm like, oh, Aaron, too far, man. He's so fun. He's so fun. Oh, Kevin Thomas Crane, my new friend. Sterling, do you have set days you do live streams?
I have set days that I'm off and I try to do that, but I'm actually going to try to do some late night stuff, maybe with Mitch Brisker, actually, at 10 o'clock at night. So we can hit up the early morning for Europe and different places.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. And again, we're talking about 30 minutes, 45-minute content. So it's easily digestible. I want to get into some of the theory of Scientology. I think Mitch, if you don't follow Mitch, you guys should. He has an absolutely fascinating view into the Sea Org, being that he was a professional working on the outside. And his channel is, I believe, Scientology, The Big Lie. You can look under Mitch Brisker. You'll find him. Aaron's done interviews with him.
Oh yeah. Aaron is he's a cool guy.
Yeah. His stuff is really, really interesting. And he's a wickedly smart guy too. So he likes to dig into the depths of it. And I personally have known Mitch for, 20 years longer, but his stuff is fascinating, very fascinating. And I hope to do some late night chats with him, because that works for my schedule.
Nice.
I can come home, I can eat dinner, I can, relax a little bit and then jump into a live. So that maybe potentially, but definitely Saturday mornings, I'm doing something always. Sunday, I'm going to pretty much do something. Usually I do something with Aaron on Sunday, and I almost always do something with Aaron on Wednesday. So
nice. Okay. That's good to know. Oralism, OT7 is just a really high point on the Scientology bridge. It's just climbing up to that point, and it's a very high spiritual point, and you're supposed to be kind of have a lot of power at that point. And it costs a lot of money to get there. Beachcomber, I was surprised. I was a surprise twin sister to my brother. Came out bum first, just to be awkward. Interesting. Wow, that is awkward. Thank you for your super chat.
So she's a fraternal twin. She has a brother.
Yes.
Yeah. So to be clear, I know people would love for me to post a picture of Justin. I never have without a Yeti face on, but Justin and I are not identical twins.
Okay.
We actually don't even look alike at all. What's strange is that my little brother, Nathan, whom I share a father with, we actually look a lot alike.
Isn't that weird how that happens? It's so weird.
Strange.
It's
So
a
strange.
weird thing. I know.
Yeah.
It's really weird. Well, this was, I mean, I don't know. I feel like it's been
No,
3 hours.
I'm good. I'm actually, actually have a really good smoothie sitting on the table over there that I keep eyeballing.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Again, we're doing this again for sure, Reese. I love chatting with you.
I'm so glad. I was feeling nervous about it. I was like, I don't want to put pressure on you like on a live and then make you feel weird and you really didn't want to, but it sounds like he wants to, guys. And I would love that. I would really love that if we could do something.
I'm going to confirm for sure. So there's no question. Absolutely, Reese. I would love to do this again. I really enjoy talking to you.
I'm so happy. I feel the same way. I just think we, the one thing that I feel like I'm missing with Aaron, and I love Aaron so much, I really do, but he doesn't get into the emotional side of it. And not that we're going to do that, but I just think you're willing to go there. And for whatever reason today, I opened up, I've been wanting to talk about that book, and it's so weird that I did it with you. And I think that's because I felt comfortable with you doing that. So it's a nice chemistry. And I like that we're willing to go there. I think those things need to be talked about, especially like you said at the very beginning, if it gets one person out, then we did a good job. So, and I think that could help for the under the radar people watching, sharing those heartfelt things, private things, personal things, and how we felt when we were there and how we are now. I think that says a lot. And so I'm glad that you're willing
and it
to
may
go
be
there.
that one thing that they can relate to, relatable, Reese. It may be that one thing they can relate to that at least starts the thought process
Totally.
for them leaving. And again, I make a point. Look, I wouldn't say it about your dad because I don't think love is an emotion he deserves to get from you. But if you have family members that are in there, attacking him is not going to do the trick. You need to remind them that you still love them and that they have a safe space to come out to.
Yes. Now I can't do that with him.
No, you cannot. Definitely. Please do not do that with him. Yeah.
Tell him to fuck off into the forever. But definitely, I really do hope the best for a lot of people. And I hope that my biggest goal is I get excited over it. Like, I feel like, what if we got somebody out? Like, what if somebody someday emails us or comes forward and says, I was a longtime Scientologist and watching you guys? That would make my life. Like, I would just feel like so grateful that we did those lives together and that it helped. You know, I just think that's such a feel good story. It's such a thrill. Yeah. I'm like, that's such a good feeling.
And because they have the Aftermath Foundation now, that makes it that much easier for someone to get on their feet. Because that really was an issue for a long time. Getting on your feet's not easy. I struggled for the first 4 to 5 years. I was broke for like 3 Christmases in a row, stressed out of my mind over charging a credit card. Hey, by the way, first time you get a credit card when you leave the Sea Org, man, you think you're a millionaire. You don't realize that you have to pay that shit back.
You got to pay that back.
You have to pay taxes. Yeah. So there's so much to talk about that. We could go on for hours. And again, I think what's so fun about talking to you, Reese, is the contrasting. I'm male, you're female. You're a public Scientologist staff member. I was a Sea Org member at Golden Era Productions. Yes. There's so many fun things to go around and talk about, I think, on that.
But it's interesting how some of the things really overlap too. Yes. Like, that's what's so cool too. So I love that. And I feel like it's nice that you're willing to go there. That's all. I just think it's great. So we will do that, guys. We'll figure out how to get him. We won't ever do it this way again, because I want him to be able to get super chats and stream from his channel. And again, I found you by just typing in, it popped up. I typed in Sterling and it said Sterling Tompkins. Is he frozen again? Oh my God.
I was just messing with you. It worked.
Oh my God. you did a really good job, and I think
Right?
all of us fell for it. That was crazy.
I had to try it.
Hilarious.
I had to try it. Okay.
Oh my God. He's hilarious, you guys. We love him.
All right.
But you can type in your last name, right? And find you that way too. I just want to keep talking about it because I want people to go follow you.
Yeah, Sterling Tompkins, no H. That's Tompkins. But yeah, also leaving Scientology, loving life. Yeah.
So funny. I wish you could see everybody's laughing in the chat right now. That was hilarious. I think I have one more super chat that I think my friend Ren B.
Throw it up there.
Yeah, Ren B said, my older brothers are fraternal twins.
Oh, cool.
She's really cute, by the way.
Y'all are the cutest. Thank you so much. Thank you.
We love her. Okay, well, this was fun, guys. This was great. I love that we have 900 people in this chat. That's amazing. Everybody hit the like. One last thing, everybody. It's not happening to Sterling yet. For whatever reason, it's happening to me because my numbers are getting bigger. I don't know. Freaking make sure you're still subscribed. Sterling, I've had people reach out and say, I've been unsubscribed 3 times today on your channel. It's weird. It's like, it's a suppressive act. Seriously.
Absolutely.
So make sure that you're subscribed and go over and subscribe to him. And then, is this way? That's where you're at. Just in case.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Yes, that's right. Let's make it climb up.
Cooking.
Okay. Again, guys, we're going to sign off, but thank you, Sterling, for being here with me. Thank you for going to the store and coming back.
Thank you, Reese. Never forget, you are a wonderful person. So,
thank you for saying that. I think it's such a true test to show we're not the suppressive people that they say we are. We're not. We love people, and that's the best part. So
and I can't wait for game night. So we'll do that soon.
I know that's so fun too. We'll do another game night.
That felt like it was 2 minutes to me. Just so you know.
I know. I could have kept going, but Aaron was getting tired.
Yeah, he was tired.
Such a little poo poo.
We got to do it with drinks at some point too.
That would be fun. Jeff just bought some pumpkin beer at Whole Foods, and he said it doesn't taste like beer at all. So maybe I can get loaded up on that.
There we go. You're gonna have to have a lot of that to get hammered, but that'll work. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he got a 6-pack. That's probably more than enough.
That's right.
Okay. All right. Well, then we're gonna sign off, guys. And do I just click leave, or do we both click it?
You click leave.
And then are you still there after?
Yes. If you click,
okay, because I want to make sure I say bye to you. Okay. Okay, guys, we're gonna sign off. We don't have anything fancy. I'm not gonna do any fun stuff at the end, but we're just going to go now and we'll see you all soon.
Sorry, I totally forgot. Can I say one last thing?
No, your time's up. I'm so sorry, sir. Go on.
Okay, I forgot. I have to mention this. Matthew Perry passed away today.
Yesterday.
I'm sorry.
Actually, during my chat last night, he died. It was horrible. It was very sad. Yeah.
And it is sad. And I only bring that up because I've mentioned in future or past interviews how much friends made a difference for me as I was leaving, at least keeping me happy. My brother Justin would sneak in the DVDs into the Blue Building, and I would watch them on my computer. And so that I'm so sorry to hear that he passed, and obviously that had some effect on me. And I actually did meet him once at a studio, which was so cool.
Did?
But I did. I seriously, nice guy, super nice.
I was going to say he looked like such a cool guy. He looked really nice.
And I'm so sad to hear he passed. And
especially how he didn't he wasn't dying to begin with. I was so heartbroken when they said he drowned.
Yeah, so was I. And it's a sad day. But again, what a wonderful person. And he had an effect on so many people's lives with his TV show.
I loved Chandler.
Yeah, he was awesome.
Chandler
Bing.
I'm sure
Matthew
the
Perry.
cast is heartbroken. I feel really sad for the cast and the people who really knew him. I don't know if he had kids or not.
I don't know either, but
okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm just sad for his family, and I just think that's when people die in a way like that, I'm like where it didn't have to happen. It's not like they were dying of cancer. It's just so sad to me. It made me really sad when I found that out. We were in the middle of laughing last night, and then somebody announced it. I was like, what?
Yeah.
No. It's really sad. So,
it is.
Okay. Well, I guess we'll end on that depressing note.
Yeah. Sorry about that. Sorry to bring everyone down, but hey.
Yeah, that's okay. We'll lift you back up next week. Okay. So I guess I will. Everybody's asking for the Fred video. If you don't mind, Sterling, will you stay on so I can say goodbye to you?
Yes.
Okay. Bye, guys. We're going to sign off. I'm going to play this because it's the only thing I know how to do. Okay. Bye, guys.